welcome to another stream. How about that? How about that? Bet you didn't expect that. So today is Sunday. Is it Sunday? Today's Monday. Yes, because we had a day off on Saturday. Today is Monday, and that means today, according to the schedule, we are doing a game development. That's right. Hello, Shukja, Lindro Braga, Yatanasov, apparently Potatoes, Mr. Botka, John Copper Casted, Raguil, and Tintin Thong, Ikora Bowl, Columbetka, hello, really glad to see you all today. Welcome. So you can find the source code of the game here, and we have a very interesting plan today. So let's take a look at the repo of the project. So the project is located here. It's just a platformer game, right? It's just a platformer game, and we're simply developing it. So let me go to the game source code. So git branch, and let's fetch the latest changes. Yeah, let's fetch them. I don't know what happened. Okay, so that was weird. I forgot how to use bash apparently. Let's just fetch origin and prune it as usual. And oh, okay, apparently everything is already merged. We don't even need to do anything. Okay, let's rebuild the the debug build, not build, but debug build. So the music is a little bit loud for me for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah, it is just generally that loud. Okay, so, and we can take a look at the game. So it's a pretty simple game. You can do pew 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 with different projectiles. You can place blocks and stuff like that, and you can also have different enemies, right, that will attack you. They have some sort of AI. That works only when you're within the same room as them. And there are different kinds of enemies, right? For example, this is a dirt golem. But the problem here is that all of the enemies, no matter what they are, you can have like also ice golems, you can have like these kind of people, they behave the same. This is kind of the problem, right? Because they're different kind of entities, they're different kind of enemies, and I think they should behave differently, but all they do right now, they're just shooting projectiles with a particular rate, and this is kind of boring. So what I thought I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna just implement different behaviors for different kinds of entities. So yeah, as to make, you know, the gameplay a little bit more interesting. Hello, Cup of Oats. New enemy personality hype. Yeah, so I plan to start with a golem, with a dirt golem. So obviously a dirt golem has to first of all move a little bit slower, right? First, it's not gonna actually try to reach me or anything unless it has an obstacle. Right, so it has to move way slower, and I think it shouldn't really shoot any projectiles, if you think about it. Or maybe the projectiles that it shoots are gonna be behave also slightly differently. Maybe they're gonna be bigger, and maybe they're gonna go like throwing a boulder like over an arc or something, and maybe they're gonna attack by actually falling on you from the sky, right? So they're gonna jump and they're just trying to fall on you instead. So these kind of ideas I have in my head right now. So an ice golem's also gonna have their own like behavior, their own personality, I would say. Since stream for a while, nice progress. Thank you, Evan. Enemy teabagging player on death. That would be actually a pretty cool idea. But I'm not gonna implement it, unfortunately. Cheers, by the way. Okay. So let me see what we can do here. I'm gonna start Emacs and also go to my project board. So I already put myself a note to have like different styles of anime attacks and stuff like that. It's like how you do engine development and then game design as you go along and are discovering what the game is going to be about. Yeah, that's exactly what I do. You described it pretty well. I'm not a game developer, but I find this approach kind of useful. Right? I find that approach kind of useful. All right. Different. Let's call them enemy styles. Right, something like that. It's going to be enemy styles. First of all, what we want to do with the golem, let's just take a look at what we want to do with it. We want it to move slower, like generally slower. Because right now it moves as fast as any enemy, and I think it's quite fast for such entity to do so. Right, so that means we need to have different velocities for different entities. Right, let me see how we can do that. So, the entity. Okay, cool. So they usually have velocity. I think they have a method to move, and you can move it in a particular direction. All right. So entity CPP move, yeah. So and then walk in direction. Okay, so essentially it just switches the entity to a particular direction. Cool. Where do we handle that? We're handling that on update. Alright, we're handling that on update, and when we are moving. Yeah, here we go. So we have a notion of entity speed. Right, and this thing is hard-coded. So that means we have to unhard-code it by making it a field of the entity itself. So as far as I know, this looks like a variable, like a config variable, so it should be available in the config. So it has to be something like in vars.conf, and we can take a look at the entity speed, and here it is. So here is the current entity speed. All right, so we're gonna do something like this. And I think this is like the only place where we use it. I wish I could just quickly... Oh my god. Emacs broke again, and I don't really know why. It just doesn't want to search inside of the project for some reason. Sometimes this happens, and I don't really understand how and why. Enemy speed. Let's take a look. Defense subscribed for 10 months at tier 1. Thank you so much for such a long support, and welcome back to our game development club. How about that? Thank you so much. Okay, so you cannot just do grep from within the compilation mode because it tries to go in some sort of interactive mode, which is kind of a shame. So if I try to do, well, okay. But wasn't it entity speed? Excuse me. It was entity speed and it couldn't find anything. Am I Pepega? Why it doesn't find this thing here? Is it because I modified it? Oh, enemy speed. Okay, I'm sorry. Like my... Yes. Alright. So the only thing I want you to see is what are the places where we use this thing. That's it. And it was so hard in 2020 with all of these tools. Unbelievable. Anyway, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove this thing from here. And I'm going to go to the entity HPP. And I'm gonna add the speed field, right? The speed field. So we have velocity, position, and yeah, we're gonna have a field. Speed. So the question is, what's the difference between velocity and speed? Well, in this particular context, all right. So let's actually do make minus b, and this is the places where we have to make the changes. So instead of this thing, I'll have to do it like that. So the next compilation error is going to be where? I do that? Really? Why do I have like the same code in two places? But maybe that's okay. Alright. Alright. Speed. So we're just going through the compilation errors and fixing all of them. Nothing special. Nothing special. Alright, wait a second. Ah, we're inside of the game. So that means what I have to do here is essentially take the speed of that entity and put it here. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Alright, anything else? Oh, and what's funny is that this is the speed that is going to be used for no clip situation as well. Right, it's going to be a speed that's used for no clip situation. But that's okay. That's okay. Okay, it seems to be building, which is nice. So after I recompiled everything, and if I run the game, I shouldn't be able to move at all because we do not set up. We do not set up the speed of the player and any other entities like at all. Yeah, let's actually verify that. So, and I'm trying to press something and I cannot move at all. Right, so I can emit particles when I'm trying to move, but I don't have any speed right now. So what I have to do now, I need to go to the constructor of the player. So I have that player constructor somewhere here available. Player. Is it called like a player entity? Yes, it is called player entity. And this is where we're gonna set it up. We're gonna set up entity, speed, and the original speed was actually 800, and that's gonna be the fix for the situation. But we'll have to go through each individual entity and set up their speeds. Alright, so if I try to run it now, I should be able to move, but if I put, for example, a golem won't be able to move. It's trying to move as it emits particles underneath it, right? You see, it emits particles, but it cannot move because its speed equal to 0. I don't know anything about code, but I'm learning, maybe. I don't know if you're learning. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. Alright, so, and this is a great opportunity to actually make the golem slower, right? So we're gonna have a dirt golem. And this is where we may try to set up its speed. So we're gonna set it equal to the player speed and just confirm that it's gonna move with the same speed as the player. And yes, it does move with the same speed. And now let's actually make it twice as slower and see what's gonna happen. Let's just make it twice as slower. Okay, and I think I accidentally closed my terminal. Let me actually reopen it. Okay, nice. That's really strange. Oh shit. Oh, okay, so everything seems to be okay. Okay. And let's put the golem here. And it cannot move. It cannot move. Even with the speed, like, I think I know why. I think I know why. So it can work with this amount of speed. But it cannot work with the other amount of speed. Okay. What's up, Domson? Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Right, so if I add this thing here, it still can move. Right, it still can move, but something lower than that is not gonna work. And this is quite unfortunate. This is quite unfortunate because it has something to do with enemy deceleration and enemy acceleration. Because you see, we don't just start moving the entities right away. We have some sort of acceleration, deceleration factors. And I think they're sort of hard-coded to work well with a very specific velocity. And I wonder if we can just calculate them based on the velocity somehow? Or do we have to make them customizable in the entity itself? So I don't know. So essentially, I'm not sure if it will be visible, but let me try to do something like this. You may not notice that, but actually the player doesn't start moving right away. It doesn't start moving right away. It actually accelerates a little bit first, and then when you stop moving, it decelerates a little bit. So, and this is actually quite important, right? And I wonder how all of that works. So we'll have to go and find where we use acceleration and deceleration factors. Yeah, we use that for an entity acceleration. So here's the entity acceleration. Oh, yeah, I see. Well, it's actually pretty straightforward. It shouldn't depend. Does it have acceleration when running while sliding? I do not understand your question. So I don't really know why I decided to make it like that. It could have been something like this. It could have been something like this. Hello, GameDev, welcome to the stream. So it's almost like it cannot. Do we have some sort of a friction? I don't quite remember if we have any sort of friction. I forgot how friction is spelled. I think this is how it's spelled. Yeah, so this is how it's spelled. Thank you. Okay, every time I update an entity, like I forgot where do we do anything like that. Alright, while you're alive, we're pulling you down. Okay, here it is. Entity stop threshold. Aha. I think I remember this one. Entity stop threshold. So I think I found the problem here. Entity stop threshold. Yeah, it's 100. And we need to calculate it based on the speed. So let's make it divided by 8. Hello, the Gorilla, welcome to the stream. What do you think about vert-let integration? I have no idea what that is. Is it necessary for the game? I have no idea if it is necessary because I have no idea what that is. I'm sorry. I'm not a game developer, by the way, contrary to popular beliefs. I have no idea what I'm doing. So you tell me what is that, and do I need it in my game? Because you seem to know more about that than me. All right. So what do we have here? So this is going to be our stop threshold. So the stop threshold is going to be different depending on the speed of the entity, and maybe that's gonna be something. So in the currently entity. So here's the entity, and where is the golem, dirt golem construction? Dirt golem. Oh my god, I forgot how the thing is called. A dirt golem. Oh, it's just called golem entity. Okay, so its speed is actually set to that. Everything seems to be okay. And let me rebuild it one more time just in case. Let me rebuild it one more time, just in case, Okay, I can move, and I'm gonna create this thingy here, and it actually moves. I found the bug, and it actually moves slower than me. Yes, perfect. I found the bug. So essentially, we have to change its deceleration. Yeah, based on the assigned speed. Cool, that is so cool. So I can know. I can also now change the speed of the player, make it super slow. Let's actually make ourselves like super slow, 100, and see if it's gonna affect. I love the hurt sound. Yeah, it's a very original hurt sound. Not gonna lie. By the way, keep in mind that this is not the final look and feel of the game, right? So all of the graphics here is just a placeholder graphics, right? Everything is gonna look differently in the future. What I'm doing right now, I'm just developing like the gameplay and stuff like that and testing things out. So this is definitely not how it's gonna look. And if you think this is pretty, well, I'm sorry, this is not the final look of the game and it's gonna look completely differently. I'm really sorry for disappointing you. Alright, seems to be good. Seems to be good. And let's do a committee. Okay, I think I need to go through all of the entities. What's up, defense? Oh, you already been here. I thought you just came. And then I remembered that you subscribed. Yeah. What's up? Yeah, because right now these kind of entities also cannot move. They're trying to move, as you can see, but they don't have any speed, and also these things also cannot move. They're trying. What's interesting is that they have a knockback, and the only reason why this entity moved is because it was knocked back by that one, which gives me interesting ideas. So yeah. In what area were you working when you were in outsource? Java Enterprise. All right. So let me see. So we need to do a committee. No. Before we do a committee, I need to go to the entities here. So this is Ice Golem. The speed of the Ice Golem is going to be slightly different, I suppose. I suppose. Entity speed. So for now it's gonna be 800, for now at least. Then we're gonna change it. We're gonna adjust some things. So enemy entity. This one is also gonna be the same. It is an integration method to achieve. Oh my! What are you talking about? Are you still talking about that thing that you asked like an hour ago? Seriously? It was. Oh, it's not. It was an hour ago. I already switched my context completely. It is integration method to achieve less error calculation. The delta position when you have acceleration. It also works better when you have a variable delta t. But what if I call my variable differently? What if I call it my variable delta d? So is the method gonna stop working? Is that how it works? I don't know. Because sometimes I like to call my variables slightly differently. Will that method still work? Okay. So entity speed 800. Okay, so I forgot to put a semicolon there. There we go. There we go. It's just about applying school physics, acceleration, velocity, and position. Okay, that's what I do. I apply acceleration, velocity, and position. Am I doing it correctly? Am I game developer already? I don't know. Can anybody tell me? How do I apply school's physics, and how do I call my variables? I need somebody to tell me that. Please tell me that. I need to know that. Anyways, so let's do a committee. And also before I do a committee, I want to do this thing. So I'm actually doing the full release build. Use Monte Carlo integration. Okay. All right. So unhard code entity speed and make the dirt golem slower. You're in over your head, Sodium just quit already. I don't understand how to parse your sentence. I don't understand what you're saying. Sorry. Maybe I'm dumb, who knows. And let's just push that right into the repo. Let's just push that right into the repo, and it's gonna be poggers. It's gonna be very poggers, my dudes. Yes. Are you guys ready for some poggers moments? Alright, so what's gonna be the next step? I think we also need to control how the entities jump, because I think the golem jumping so high is kind of scary, but maybe not. Maybe not. We'll see. Alright. So... yeah, I think jumping... I don't really want to touch jumping right now. But what I want to do is implement the different attack of the golem, right? So one of the things I want you to do is golem actually jumping on me, like, and falling down, and actually performing the attack. And I wonder how can I implement that, because we only have like 2 types of weapons, and that may require introducing a different type of weapon, right? So, and I wonder what kind of type of weapon is it gonna be? What type of weapon is it gonna be? So let me think. It's definitely not a placer, because it doesn't place any block, and it's not a gun because it doesn't shoot anything. And what's interesting is that for placers and for guns, right? So let's actually go to the weapons. So we have 2 kinds of weapon types: gun and a placer. Gun allows you to shoot projectiles. Placers allow you to place blocks. For both of them, you need a direction in which you're supposed to shoot. But for the falling down attack, right? So you don't need the direction. The only thing you need is to be in the air, right? And the entity should like fall down and whatnot. So yeah, how would we call such attack, such weapon? We can call it move, right? We can call it move. I'm sorry, we don't do OP here. I mean, we don't do OP here. Stomp. It's a name of a very specific, move, right? But generally, it seems to be just a move, and when you do a move, it actually... I don't know how exactly we can implement that, but it needs to switch the entity to a completely different state, right? It needs to switch entity to a completely different state, and it should be one of the states of the entity, like moving, walking, and doing all sorts of stuff. So I'm not sure if like weapon is a great way to describe that. We can try though, but I might then revert my code because I'm not sure if it's gonna really work well. I'm not sure if it's really gonna work well. Okay. So it feels like something that could be achieved only by hard coding things, which I'm not super happy with, but it might be that one of those things. Do you ever do hardware projects, for example, Arduino? I don't have Arduino, so no. And I don't have any motivation to go buy it and to search where I can buy it or order it, because it's too much of a bother for me to do that. So if I had Arduino like just lying around, I would probably play with it, but I don't have it, and for me it's just ordering one. It's just like, why do I need that? No, it's just too much bother. I'm sorry. Too much bother. I kind of want tea, chat. I kind of want tea. To have a freeze state for ice golem, you can make your earth golem freeze in air and let gravity cool and cause damage. Are you suggesting gameplay ideas? The game is not even finished and I have no idea whether we will need that or not. Ice golem freeze player. Thank you for clarification. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. So it feels like it would be pretty cool to just inherit the entities. I know that it's an OOP term, but it may help in this particular situation. It may help in this particular situation. Because this thing is indeed like a separate state. It is indeed like a separate state. And it's also like a separate animation. Weapons cannot like control or switch animations of the entities at all. Should they be able to? It gets very abstract. Alright, so let's actually try to go and compile all of that. Let's try to go and compile all of that. Something debuggers. Okay, so we don't handle this thing in a couple of places. So when I do shoot, it's gonna be weapon type move. Right, and weapon shoot sample, and it says the cooldown. Oh, okay, so in case of a move, it's a gun, but the projectile is a golem sprite. I don't think it's gonna be that easy to pull off. Are the calibers around keys mandatory in C++? No, they're not. But they might be needed to actually prevent very nasty bugs in your code. They might be needed for that. So, yep. So there's another place here, and you need like a separate way to do a placer and whatnot. So it's actually about the scope. I don't know if you know how switch scopes work, but essentially if you define a variable here, this variable it will be visible here. And that's kind of like a design flow of C and C++. So to prevent that, you introduce like another scope here. So now X is not visible here. So, but it's not mandatory. Like if you're okay with your variables defined here, visible here, then you don't need to do that. Like it's just, it's a design flow of C and C++ that you have to constantly bear in mind. No, they're not mandatory. Is there some kind of architecture for these games that you're going for, or are you figuring out as you go? Yes, I'm figuring out as I go. Switch case, yeah, they're basically go-tos, right? So they're basically like labels, and switch just jumps to a particular case and breaks jumps to the end of the switch. Simple as that. It's as simple as that. I don't like this situation with the weapon. I don't like it. It implies that I have to implement too many things, but maybe I don't have to implement too many things. Maybe I can just generalize some of these things. Just another trap in C++. The language is so dangerous. Ooh, pointers, raw pointers, go-tos, switches. So we need safer languages like Rust. Ooh, so fucking scary. My God, I'm gonna turn on my kettle just a second. I just actually wonder, how do you guys these days develop anything if you're so easily scared by minor language design flaws? Like, how do you even find like motivation to do anything if you're so easily scared? It's kind of strange. All right. It feels like it would be great if I would just wrap entity into a new entity, like dirt golem, right? And I would keep an entity here, like this. Like this. But what will that give me? That will give me a control over the entity itself and maybe additional states that entity doesn't have. No, it's not gonna solve anything either. On the other hand, it could be something that a weapon takes control over an entity and fully orchestrates its motion and visual looks. So that means weapon can have time. Yeah, so this is interesting actually. This is interesting actually. Because weapons right now, shooting weapon is just a single thing. Like, but move introduces a new paradigm where like applying a weapon takes some time. Right, so you're essentially just falling, and until you fall down, you won't be able to do anything else. So maybe that's the direction we can move towards too, or something like that. I'm actually kind of scared. I'm not sure if I'm... Okay, I'm just waiting for my kettle. I'm just waiting for my kettle. So if that's so, we have to do something like update, right? We need to have something like update, and so we're gonna have a structure called move, right? And the move doesn't really have anything specific on it, I think. Right. I guess the only thing it can do is just render and update, right? So you can just do render, where of course you accept like this thing. So essentially it will just forward it to the weapon itself. And yeah, update. And update, by the way, this time is gonna require delta time, right? It's gonna require delta time. And these things, by the way, I think have to be actually pointers to these functions, because you can have like a different moves, right? Configured differently. And yeah, you're gonna have it move like that. Cool. So in move itself, probably is gonna have some sort of a state, right? It's probably gonna have some sort of a state, and I'm not even sure how we're gonna manage that state. Because do we want to give it like arbitrary big state, right? Is that what we want to give it? Arbitrary big state. If so, that means we have to manage it somehow, right? We have to manage it somehow, which is not particularly ideal. This is bad. I need to really think about how I'm gonna approach that. Just waiting for my team. Maybe I should actually switch to something else, because this is not really flying well. Because yeah, I don't even know how to hack it together. That's the problem. I could try to just hack it together to see how it's gonna work, but I don't see how I can hack it together. Like, because I'm okay with like hacks and stuff. Oh, I think I know how can we hack it together. I think I do know how we can hack it together. Essentially, we can add this capability of stomping to every entity, right? We give it to every entity, but the only way you can invoke that stomping is through the weapon. So, and weapon is essentially gonna just call the method of entity stomp, right? And we're gonna only give that weapon to golems. So this is how we can hack it together right now. This is quite cool, I like that. Yeah. So right now, everything player, like enemies, golems, they are instances of a single thing. Right now, at least, I know that it's not ideal, but right now they're instances of a single thing called entity. Right. An entity is capable of a lot of different things. So essentially, we're gonna just add stomping to the entity, and that will give that ability to all of the things. So the player technically would be able to stomp as well, right? But you won't be able to do that without special weapon that calls a special method stomp, right? So that's how we're gonna hack it together, right? And the reason why I want to just hack it together is because it will give me information on what's needed for the game, right? What's needed for the game, and then later I will be able to refactor it to something more or less like proper, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? I think it should make sense, right? I think it should make sense. So, and essentially, Hamikov Bediator, welcome. So you have a life state and you have idle. Basically, you're just standing. Why didn't I call it standing though? It would be so. It would make so much sense. Right, walking and stomping, maybe. Stomping. Yeah. So this is how we're gonna do that. Walking and stomping. And this is going to be a completely different state, and we're going to integrate that into our entity state machine. Yeah, that's going great. All right. I'm super happy that I came up with at least something that I can just hack together. And once we hacked it together, we'll have more information that will help us to refactor that to something better. How does it integrate with jump state? Is it important? I don't think... Well, essentially, I'm also gonna have method stomp. Right, a method stomp will expect you to be in a very specific state. It will expect you to be alive, and it also will expect you to have a very specific jump state. And for example, you won't be able to stomp in the preparation for the jump and the jump itself. So only in no jump and while you're falling and while you are in the air. So that's going to be the idea. So yeah, it's actually very easy to tweak to, you know, integrate all of these things together, I think. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? So yeah. Should be pretty straightforward. Cool. Let's try to compile that. Okay, so do I have any other stuff? Yeah, I need to remove all of that weapon bullshit. I need to remove all of the weapon bullshit, and I'm gonna stash this thing just to check if everything is okay. I guess I just came, so I lack a bit of context of what we're doing. What we're currently trying to do is we're trying to make like a diverse behaviors for enemies. Right, for example, right now all of the enemies act the same. What they do, they just see you and they just shoot you with the same rate and stuff like that. And I'm trying to make it like a very unique behavior for the dirt golem or rock golem or whatever. So first of all, I made it slower, and second of all, instead of shooting projectiles, it's gonna try to stomp you, right? It's gonna jump and try to fall on you. So that's gonna be the actual idea here, right? This is gonna be the actual idea. Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out how I can hack that together super quick, because obviously I don't want to refactor too much, so I just want to pile on top of the current code until it starts to tip over, and then I will see how I can refactor it. That's the idea, basically. At least. At least that's the idea. Okay, so everything seems to be compiling, everything seems to be working, and let's try to recompile this entire thing. Okay, so we have places where we have to do this thing. So this is a rendering. This is a rendering, so we are in a live state. And then when we're rendering a character, we'll have to do this thing. Did you already order the M1 MacBook? I'm not that rich to have any actually MacBooks, I'm sorry. A live state is Stomping. I never had a single Apple product in my life. I'm sorry, I live in a third world country. I'm actually joking. We have a lot of Apple products here, but they're expensive as fuck, and I cannot afford them. Alright, are you guys ready for a little bit of TSMR? Because I think my tea is ready. I think my tea is ready. Why are they so expensive if they grow on a tree? Very funny. That's a funny joke. I wouldn't buy Apple products even if I could afford them. Well, I heard that they integrate together really well, better than any other products, first of all. Yeah, and that's probably their only advantage, is the integration and stuff like that. I don't know if there's any other advantage. Maybe design is super slick and futuristic, you know, very, very poggers. To be fair, I don't really have any opinion on Apple products, seriously. I might sound like I have some opinions, but I don't, because I never tried them. So maybe if I actually tried them, I would be such a huge Apple fan, but I never tried them, so it is what it is. Don't you become cool if you have one? Yeah, it's basically a fashion item. At least that's what I heard for some people. But some people also talk about stability of the Apple products and stuff like that. I don't know, to be fair. Again, I never tried them, so I don't know. Some people say that it's a Unix machine that just works, but it's a weird Unix. I see. But I also heard it's certified POSIX. How about that? I got from work, since I'm forced to home office, it's sitting next to me and I work on my PC with Linux. Oh, I see. Some people, even after using it for quite some time, don't find it comfortable, so they just use Linux. I don't know, I'm really comfortable with Linux. I've been using Linux for so long, I cannot use Windows anymore, even if I want to. Right, I cannot force myself to use Windows. I don't understand how the system works. It looks so annoying. It also always pops up different things just to annoys you and stuff like that. I just don't understand how to use it. So I'm really comfortable with Linux because I can strip everything off, make it as small as possible, as quiet as possible, and just let me work. So that's one of the things I can do with Linux. Of course, you cannot really play too many games. And yeah. It just works until it doesn't, and then they will ask you that fixing it costs you the new machine. Yeah, classic. Classic. Alright. So, let me see. Assert. WSL makes Windows almost bearable. Almost. I see. I never tried WSL. Actually, like I switched from Windows to Linux before WSL was a thing. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I can't play any games on Linux, so I have to make my own. Exactly, that's exactly the reason. Are you doing this full time, or do you also work? I'm actually doing this part time, and I don't have any work. So this is definitely not full time because I stream only for 4 hours a day, which is a part time. All right. And no, I can do that without having any work, not because I earn a lot of money from streaming. Actually, I earn like almost like a little bit right now, like a little bit less than McDonald's cashier. And the only reason I can do that is because I'm living in a third world country where the cost of life is like almost nothing. So yeah, don't think that I'm such an epic famous streamer that gets a lot of money. No, I just live in a third world country. That's the secret. So I just don't want you to get the wrong impression. So what do we have here? Stomping rendering is not implemented. So this is what we can have here. Okay, so here's another one. So, and what do we do here specifically? It's update. Where are you living? It's a secret. Nobody knows. Nobody knows where I'm living. Oh, by the way, I think this is already fixed. I'm pretty sure that's already fixed. There's more native games thanks to Steam. Yeah, there's also native games. And yeah, Steam makes gaming on Linux kind of, you know, bearable. I don't know. MacBooks are great, but don't get me wrong, but dongle madness is just crazy, and proper docking station are crazy expensive. I suppose that was the point, right? Maybe that dangle situation is actually completely artificial, just to make people buy dock station or something. Maybe sounds like something Apple would actually do. So stomping, okay. Oh, I've lose the dongle, it's horrible. Yeah, I can imagine. The look of horror in her face when she has to use USB drive, I can imagine. Yeah. If Apple would actually sell a docking station. So they don't sell it. Alright, so... Oh, I didn't know. I thought maybe they sell it. Oh, alright. So assert. But don't you like have like a Thunderbolt like monitors that kind of act like a docking station? So they usually have like a shit ton of different ports, and the only thing you have to do is just plug your MacBook to it, and you sort of have like a proper PC or something. I don't know. Like I only saw this kind of technology, but I'd never used it. Yeah, thank you. I mean, this is something the compiler will tell me anyway. So updating stomping state is not implemented. So this is something I can do here, and let's see. Alright, that's cool. Those displays are also expensive, but they are sold by Apple, so that was my original point. My original point was not about their price. It was about whether the dongle madness was created artificially by Apple just to sell more shit. And the availability of these standard displays actually confirms that, maybe that's the reason, I don't know. It's just my hypothesis. Imagine thinking that I will click on bit.ly link, Jesus fucking Christ. So I think everything compiles, and again we'll probably have to implement that method. Yep. Exile. I hope I pronounced your nickname correctly, by the way. Thank you so much for Twitch Prime subscription, your first subscription, by the way, and welcome to our epic Linux gaming club. How about that? Jesus Christ, what the hell is going on? The Guich, thank you for 2 months of tier 1 subscription. Thank you, and welcome back to our epic Linux gaming club. Thank you so much. What is going on? So thank you so much for like 2 subs in a row. So that's all it takes. You just rant a little bit about Apple and MacBooks and people throwing money at you. You see, streaming is easy. Thank you so much. Anyway, so I think the vast majority of MacBook customers don't want a docking station, which is probably why they don't prioritize it. Oh, okay. Oh, since you distracted you from, don't worry about it. It's kind of my work to be distracted, to be fair. Should start a podcast about it. Podcasts require a lot of organization work because you don't really want to do podcast alone. You want to do it with somebody, and that involves logistics, scheduling, also preparing, planning, and stuff like that. With the streams, I can just, press the stream button and just do whatever. So that's actually pretty cool. So yeah, I was actually considering doing podcasts, and it's just too much work. For me at least, maybe not for some other people. Do you need an iPod too? Because podcast. Do they even still sell iPods? I mean, why do you need them in 2020? They made sense in zeros, but in 2020. So okay, stomp function will initiate the stomping attack. So essentially what it will do, it will switch your state to stomp. So first of all, what we have to do, so state has to be alive, right? I owned one Apple product, I want it actually, and interestingly enough, it has entirely put me off Apple products. Oh, I see, interesting. But shuffles was good. I hope they still have them. I don't know. Entity HPP. So here's the entity state. So, and I expect this thing to be entity state alive. So this is the first thing. And within the alive state, right? Within the alive state, I think you should be. I think the alive state doesn't really matter that much. Oh, Jesus Christ. From one poor man to another. Thank you, Thompson. Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate 30 bits. So here's the alive state, and alive state should essentially be not stomping, because you cannot stomp if you're already in the stomping phase, right? So alive state should not be equal to stomping. Not stopping, but stomping. Can't stomp if you are already stomping. Makes sense? Probably makes sense. Alright, so here's a live state, and there should be something about jump state. So let's take a look. Jump state. So when you're about to jump, I think you're also not allowed to stomp. Right, it has to be no jump. Oh, what's funny, by the way, the state no jump, for example, right now, you're in the air, but you are in a state of no jump. The reason is because you already played all of the animations that are needed for preparing for the jump and then actually jumping. And what you're doing right now, you're just falling, so you're in no jump state. So that was weird. Anyway. So I think our step debugging is broken somewhere. Jump state has to be jump state no jump, like this. And we also have to be not on the ground. I think inside of the entity. Yeah. So inside of the entity we have a special method that checks whether you are on the ground or not, which is super convenient, not gonna lie. So yeah, it's gonna be ground, but that will require providing a grid. So a grid is an entity that stores all of these cells and stuff like that. Yeah, that means we'll have to pass that tile grid there, like this. Cool. And that's the whole condition here. That's the whole condition. So the entity has to be alive. It should be not in a stomping phase. It should be in a no jump state, and it should not be on the ground. Only then we can go ahead and switch to the stomping state. So alive state switches to alive stomping. Something like this. So yep. Alive state stomping. And essentially what it should do, it should block any of the controls. Right, you cannot move anywhere, like, at all. Your English as well. Any suggestions on how to improve speaking skills? How did you learn it? I was just speaking English every day on the internet while streaming. That's it. So, well, the answer is simple, just practice. Just practice. It's the same as with programming. To get good at programming, you just program. To get good at English, you just speak English. You just have to keep doing that, and you will improve. Eventually you will improve. All right. That's a lot of different things. So do we have to do any special rendering here? I wonder. So when we are in a live state. Okay, so this is a poof state, this is another state. Okay. When we're stomping, I think we can just render this thing in idle state. I think that should be okay. Yeah. So that's what we're doing. So stomping state implemented. Updating. On the ground. So this is a particles. It's a particle system situation, nothing special. Then when we are alive, we do this kind of preparation, right? Yeah. Flash alpha. I do not quite remember what Flash alpha does. Oh, I do remember what it is. So essentially, yeah. When you pick up an item, you flash with a green color. Did you see that? Yeah, did you see that? Yeah, that's what it is. Essentially, that's what it does. It animates the flashing color when you pick up an item. So it's actually pretty straightforward. Yeah. So we have a pretty, like, sophisticated state machine, and I wonder if at some point they will be able to abstract it away. That would be very interesting, I think. That would be very, very interesting. So this is deceleration, acceleration. So then we take a look at the jump state, and then we take a look at the alive state. And essentially that's what we're doing. Do we have a ground? Yeah, we do. We have a ground. What do you mean by abstracting the state machine? What I mean is abstracting it away, because right now it is very hard-coded. I have specific types like enumerations, like a live state and so on and so forth, and entities have a fixed amount of different states. And I wonder if I can make entities with not fixed amount of states and with actually configurable states and stuff like that. That's what I mean. Abstraction. Abstraction is moving from specific to less specific or general. That's what it means. When you're abstracting something away, you take a very specific thing and turn it into more general thing with less details. Make sense? It's like this is something that mathematicians were doing for thousands of years. They constantly find objects, mathematical objects, and then they abstract them away, they generalize them. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so stomping. I think we just need to make it fall down, but I think gravity already applies on the velocity. Right, so jump, prepare. Where do we apply the gravity on the thing? Aha, this is where we apply the gravity. Cool. If it's no clip, of course. If it's no clip. So that means if we are stomping, we have to apply even more things, even more acceleration. Yeah. Cool. So it has to be entity stomp acceleration multiplied by dt. So entity stomp acceleration. But first thing we have to do, if on the ground, we have to switch to a different state. And state is going to be, I think a live state is going to be a live state idle. Right, live state idle. So otherwise, we keep applying that thing. Right. And another thing we'll have to do here is assert impact. Right, we need to implement impact. So we'll have to just, yeah. So maybe we'll have to create an area, and if the entity stands in that area, they should be damaged. Yeah, something like that. We'll have to introduce something like this here. So I think that's the whole thing. So, and let's try to compile all that. So we don't have entity stomp acceleration. Let's go to varconf. Varsconf, there we go. So entity deceleration factor, blah, blah, blah. So this one is going to be stomp acceleration. So what is the gravity? Gravity is 3000. So maybe we can take and make it 1000 and see how it goes. We can always increase it later. Right, we can always increase it later. And let me actually show you something. Can your Vim do... Well, that was actually pathetic. Yeah, this is how it has to be. But yeah. So I aligned everything and now it looks good, doesn't it? I think it looks kind of good. So also align rejects. And one more time. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, good. So the entity stomp acceleration. And then we switch to idle. Okay. But what's fun is that I think while you're in a stomping state, it should block any of the controls. Do you plan to do some AOC, array of... I don't know what is AOC, I'm sorry. I'm pretty excited already. I guess I will try some early access Languages, advent of code. Well, I'm thinking about making advent of code, but I do not make any promises because it's quite huge of a commitment, and I'm not sure. Maybe I'm gonna do it on my own. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Plus, a lot of people will be doing it on the science and technology section, and it's just whatever. It's just whatever. Alright, so let me see if this compiles now. No declaration matches. Okay. Entity HPP. So here's we do stomp. Right, so this is a stomp, and then I'm gonna remove it. Cool. And entity, there we go. So I think first we need to test the stomping technique on the player, right? That's what we need to do. So I'm gonna go to the game and handle events. Yeah, this is where we handle events, and what we're gonna assign to stomp. Do we handle SDL key E, for example? Okay, that's cool. So here's the space. Is that a jump? SDL key D. Where do we handle that? It's time consuming. I will see for how long I will do in this year. The first week was pretty fun. Okay. Excuse me? How do I handle left and right? I cannot find the place where I map left and right. Oh, this is where I do that, I see. So it's a completely different way of handling the input. Yeah, that confused me a little bit. So here is... We do that on update. Okay, so that makes sense. We do that on update. Alright, so I'm gonna do... Oh shit, it's already updated. Okay, case SDL key E. So we're gonna assign stomp on E, and what essentially we're gonna do here, we're just gonna call stomp on the player, right? We call stomp on the player. So let's see what's gonna happen, and so tile grid. Oh, I probably have to take a pointer of that thing. Yeah. Okay, cool. So now we should be able to start stomping, right? It doesn't really happen. I'm not sure if anything's happening, to be fair. It would be cool to see the state of the entity. The current state of the entity. Maybe we're gonna actually like print the state of the entity over them when we're in debug mode. That would be actually kind of interesting, I think. Let's try to do that. So debug. Debug. How is this called? Entity. Render debug. Yeah. So it's called render debug. Wait, is it called? We have render debug and render debug overlay. Am I... Okay. Oh, I'm also looking at the wrong file. Okay. Everything's okay. Alright, so if it is alive... if it is alive... Yeah, so we're drawing that. So this is a collision mesh. So that's what it is. It's just a collision mesh. A live state. Right, so a live state. To be able to render this kind of thing, we'll need a font, right? So let me see if we have a font here. So bitmap font. I might as well accept it here. So bitmap font. Yep, bitmap font. And then I can do the following thing. Font. Well, it's probably gonna be actually passed by a pointer. Well, it's already passed by a pointer. I'm an idiot. So that means I have to do it like that, renderer, and position is going to be the position of the player itself. So we'll have to take this position, right? So this is the position, and then we'll have to use camera to map it to the screen position, otherwise it's not going to work. So the size of this thing is going to be just 1:1, I think. I think that's going to be the easiest one to go about. And I wonder, do we have RGBA like... yeah. In the vars config, font debug color. Yeah, font debug color. So I can just use this thing here, font debug color. And in the font here, all right, and then I can provide the thing that I want to actually render. So let's actually put hello here and see how it goes. Right, let's see how it goes. Maybe we have to use a very specific size. We also have like a font debug size. We might use it as well. Font debug size, like this. And let's go. Let's go. So it's gonna be hello. And let's try to recompile that. And we don't... Oh, okay, so I modified the signature of this thing, so that means I'll have to modify it here as well. The thing I did is just I added the bitmap font. That's what I did. It's just a bitmap font. And what do we have here? Oh yeah, that means I'll have to put the font here. Yeah, it's called debug font here, which is not ideal, but I mean, that's what it is actually. It's a debug font. Alright, it compiles, and now if I rerun the game and I go into the debug mode, I will see hello here. As you can see, it's like printed like that. So which is not ideal because I want this to be over my head somewhere, or maybe below, like in the center or something. We can try to align these things because we know the hitbox and we also know the texture box and whatnot. We can use that information to properly align things. But that will require writing some, you know, pretty nasty code that people usually scared of. But since I'm a professional software developer, I'm not scared of writing nasty code. So the thing we'll have to do, we'll probably have to take the text box. So entity HPP. So does it have a text box? Yeah, text box world. What it does, it takes position and move it to the world. That's exactly what we need to do. Did I already take it here? I think I already kind of did. So text, no, it's not used here. That's very interesting. All right. So text box world, tbw auto. So now I have a text box world. So its position actually, yeah, essentially I can take this position and add. So this is the position. So vec2 tbw x, the same tbw y plus tbw height. I think that will probably work. Let's see. Hopefully that will work. It does compile though, but as you know, if it compiles. And okay, so it draws below, which is actually good enough, in my opinion. In my opinion, it is good enough. So here's the thing. Now we need to have a function that takes a live state and converts it to a sister. And sister, I mean sister. C-string, that's what I mean here, all right? So let's quickly implement that function. It's going to be entity.hpp and a live state. So it's going to be something like const char a live state as sister. That's what it is. So it takes a live state like this and it just converts it to sister. What ID is this? This is Emacs. Do I have an ID thingy here? Yeah. So here it is. This is the ID I'm using. What's up, Grant Magistrum? Welcome to the stream. Well, IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment, and this thing seems to be pretty integrated to me. So it integrates with the compiler. I can call compiler from my Emacs. This is kind of interesting, Kulumbetka. Why everybody asking about keyboards, but nobody asking about mice? Think about it. Well, I mean, I suppose maybe in gamer community, mice also play important role. I don't know, maybe. But in programmer community, mouse is no. No. Oh, no. Alright. So, let's do this like that. Oh, shit. Okay, that was hard. Imagine using mouse in 2020. It's almost 2021. Nice one, Emacs. Thank you so much. Thank you, Emacs. Very cool. What the fuck am I doing? Jesus Christ. Okay, that was hard for some reason. I don't know why. And essentially what I want to do here is just a return. That's what I want to do. It's simple as that. And then I can align this thing with the return like this. And that's essentially it. And then we can assert something like this as unreachable. Can your Vim do that? Exactly. December 31 of 2020 will just go straight to December 32 consider this year logs. Maybe. Well, 2020 was definitely a special year, for sure. It wasn't that bad. I think we had worse years in the 20th century, if you think about it. So yeah, so now we have this function, and we should be able to easily just take the state of the entity, convert it to string, and maybe debug it. So that will help debugging things. Render debug. There we go. So essentially, I just take a live state, and then I say a live state as sister. There we go, and that will render straight up the state of this thing. Okay, so now, yeah, so as you can see, walking, idle, walking, idle. So right now I'm walking. You can see how the state switches, so which is quite convenient. And when I press E, stomping doesn't happen. That's quite interesting. Stomping doesn't happen. So yeah, that means it never happened. That's actually pretty cool. I'm really glad that they implemented this thing. We can try to debug that stuff essentially by doing GDB something debuggus, right, and break on entity stomp, right. I wish I could. Yeah. So I'm gonna break on that, and then I'm gonna run it. And I'm gonna press E. Okay, it actually stopped here, and we can do 2E, and we can take a look at the state. Like, let's print state. Oh, by the way, okay, I'm sorry. Crazy. It's okay. So now it's not gonna time you out. Yeah. So. Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. It's basically, it's a very dumb regular expression. It's a very dumb regular expression, but it's needed for just randos that go into the chat and start spamming links, so the bot will immediately just time out and remove all the links. But then I can manually mark certain people that can send links, so yeah. So it's like a very basic and very dumb moderation mechanism. I'm really sorry, sometimes it just, this kind of stuff happens too. So there's two state structs, walking and jumping. No, not really. There's a single structure and there's two enumerations, walking and jumping. Alright, so here's a state, and alright, so it's alive. A live state is not equal to stomping. Okay, so jump state No jump. And can I call? Can I do ground grid? Probably not. But maybe it was... okay. I don't know what it's doing, but eventually it actually sets a live state to that. Oh yeah, and then you start moving and that messes the alive state, because if you press left or right, that immediately will make you... okay, that makes sense. So that means if I try to do something like this, I just jump. No, it just doesn't work. I suppose it just messes with the state constantly. Alright, so I wonder where it is set. So what kind of methods do we have here? So render debug, update. Or maybe point gun at, but jump. So essentially we need to collect all of the inputs. So move, stop, move, stop, stomp. I think this is the things we need to go through and check. So this is the basic actions you can do on an entity, right, to control the entity. So, and when we are in a stomp state, we should not mess with them, in my opinion. All right. Entity, CPP, jump, 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 jump. Okay, so when you are in a live state, and okay, so let's do it slightly differently. Yeah, let's do it slightly differently. So I'm gonna make like a switch, and I'm gonna have a case here. Entity, state alive. So you can jump if you are alive. That makes sense, right? So if you're alive, you can jump. But only in two specific states, actually. Switch alive state, right? So you are allowed to jump only in a state of idle or walking. I think, yeah, walking. Or in a state of walking. So we basically explicitly show in which states you can do that. In a state of stomping, you are not allowed to do anything. So that's the idea. In any other state, so entity, state poof, or entity state dead, nothing. You're not allowed to do anything. So it's going to be something like this. So I explicitly just denote all of the states, and maybe in the future we won't be we will want to like add additional codes for particular combinations of states and whatnot. Alright, so yeah, something like this. You're not allowed to jump and change your state or anything. Loved you, Jason, parsing the Husky video. Thank you. I worked really hard on it, preparing the material for that specific stream. And to be fair, I'm really proud of that video because I managed to show a lot of Haskell concepts in one video, even though the video was pretty long. So yeah. Why not indent the case? It is inside the switch brace after all, because it's a bike shading and the shed is gonna be red. So it's like this. Cool. Another one, entity HPP. What's up, Upper? Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? How are you doing? All right. So move. You can only move if you are not in a stomping. Yeah. So you. Yeah. So this is kind of a hack. So basically, while you're stomping, you're not allowed to interrupt this state. State, what is that? Yeah. Is this a live state? Yeah, this is a live state. Not equal stomping, because you cannot interrupt stomping. How many step on me daddy jokes have you made already? Not a single one. I'm sorry, Apple. I turned 30 years old yesterday. I stopped making that joke yesterday, so yeah. Sorry, it is what it is. I became a boring boomer who don't understand memes. That's what happened yesterday. That's quite sad, but that's life. Cheers. Okay, so yeah, that's that. Let's try to recompile this shit and see maybe that doesn't mess my stomping state. Zozin back on the tea addiction again. Yes, I am back. I'm sorry. I just figured that it becomes very difficult to stream without any caffeine. So what? Yeah. But at least it's not coffee or energy drinks, so that's kind of okay. Alrighty, so let's take a look if that will mess with anything here. So our state currently idle, and it's stomping, and stomping doesn't stop even if I hit the ground. So that's interesting. So now stomping. Oh, wait a second. Okay, so that kind of happened. So why do an app actually started to do things? I don't quite understand. But okay. Alright, so impact, and it also triggered impact. Right, if you are on the ground, you switch to just idle state and you also do an impact, but how does that make any sense? And wait, ground. How do you implement ground? Yeah, it's actually pretty straightforward, so yeah. So we just take the feet. That's actually interesting, so we have a feet. God damn it. Hi, how are you? I'm fine. Thank you for asking, Lorenzo0. Welcome to the stream, by the way. How are you doing? I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. So just debugging this goddamn problem as usual. Nothing special. Nothing special. So it for some reason doesn't trigger the impact. Thank you, you're welcome. Okay. So we are in middle walking, middle walking, middle walking. Oh, that's funny. I wonder if I introduce that problem. Huh, maybe. Okay, so then I do stomp, and it actually worked, I think. Yeah. Okay, so it asks for impact immediately. PogChamp, this bug again. Yeah. Alright, so by the way, I think, by the way, the fact that it crashes is okay because I put an assert to the place where I need to implement more functionality, so it's kind of expected. And it crashes so I don't forget to do that. So I want to increase the stomp acceleration, like basically make it as much as gravity. Because it crashes with to-do impact, so yeah. So it's actually kind of cool trick. I really recommend it. Just crash your application in a place where you need to implement functionality, and you'll never forget about it. All right. So yeah. So essentially, we're accelerating. We can even make it like 6 times. So my idea is that you just start stomping, and this English. I love English. All right. So look. Hello, Droka, welcome to the stream. We're implementing stomping. Right, essentially you can just jump and that crashes the whole application. That's how powerful the stomping is. How about that? Isn't that cool? So impact. How are we gonna denote the impact? For now, I want to take a look at how it's gonna look like, because I'm pretty sure it may create some particles, some interesting particles. Yeah. It's not as powerful as I would expect it to be, so maybe let's make it 8. So I want it a little bit faster. So that's gonna be stomping. All right. And okay, it didn't even stop stomping for some reason. And when I press up, it goes up. And it cannot recognize that I'm on the ground. That's really strange. I see. I think. How can we know that? So ground. So we updated everything. So prepare. For some reason, ground just doesn't work, and I don't understand why. Okay, so if you go to the floor, it will also resolve the collision. Does it? When do we resolve the collision? Collision. So I think it's something with collision resolution. So in the game itself, when I'm updating the game, right? So there should be collision resolution. Okay, so first we update the entities, and then only then we resolve their collision. Okay, that makes sense. So that means at some point after you moved down, you should be crossing over something. Okay, so here's an idea. So maybe this is how we have to do that. So first we move down, and if we finally hit the ground, yeah. Because we're not updating the position, we're updating literally that. I see. Well, that should work. So where do we update the position? We update... Okay, I see now. Oh, shit. What if we update it after handling all of that? So here's a no clip. Yeah, what about we update it after all of this? So this is the life state, this is another thing. So maybe that will make something interesting. Okay, so something debug. All right, so far nothing is breaking, and I'm stomping, and it worked. Yeah, so I can now do things, and it seems to be working, and I'm actually stomping. I'm actually listening to a stream on YouTube, so we can check out here. So that's what I'm listening. So, and when I'm stomping, I cannot move or jump, so I have to wait until stomping finishes. So, and essentially, I'm not sure if moving like everything up there is a good idea generally, but maybe it kind of works. So, yeah. So, and this bug is back, like where I can do this kind of shit, which is kind of dumb. And by the way, also it would be nice to actually squash on hitting the ground. Hello, Sig was taken. Welcome to the stream. Alright, so I wonder if I introduced that bug by messing around. So let me stash everything I have and recompile everything from scratch. Because I don't remember the moment that bug was introduced. Is this pure C++ or using a framework? I'm using SDL. So does it count? Yeah, I'm using SDL too. So this is SDL too. Okay, so let me see. The bug is there, and I'm gonna go to the master and let's rebuild it. Is breaking blocks with stomp in plants? That would be actually pretty cool. But yeah, the player is not gonna have the stomp. We're developing stomp for an enemy, and I'm using it on a player just to test it out easily. Duke, welcome. Hello, hello. How are you doing? How are you doing? Really glad to see you. We're actually implementing something cool. We're implementing stomping as an attack. Alright, so I'm gonna show you. Doing well, nice. Really glad to hear that. Oh shit! Apparently we introduced the bug. Hello Benny Darshan, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello guys. Step on me, Daddy. Yes. Okay, well, apparently we introduced the bug as well, but we introduced it like in this commit. We introduced it on this commit, and I will have to investigate that. But before I investigate that, I'm gonna just pop that thing. Nutrix Live, hello, hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'm gonna show you what we implemented. So essentially, instead of dirt golems shooting potatoes and behaving like other enemies, I want the golems to be slower. They should move slower and attack by stomping you. So, and this is what I implemented right now. So now you should be able to just stomp, you see? So essentially, this is the attack that I'm developing. Yeah, and it seems to be working so far. And obviously the player is not gonna have stomping. Maybe they will, why not? But that's, for now, is planned for specifically dirt golems, right? So, and this will become like a new type of weapon, right? So it's going to become a new type of weapon. And I also want to implement an animation that actually squashes the entity when they're stomping and whatnot. Right now, yeah, that's cool. But apparently we introduced some sort of a bug, and I think I really want to fix it. New sound cue, maybe? What do you mean? So... We haven't finished that feature yet. I'm not thinking about sounds. Or I'm not sure what you mean. I'm really not sure what you mean. Q. Isn't it spelled like Q, differently? Sound Q. Oh, it's even spelled with C. Yeah, I know that it's spelled completely differently. Sound Q sounds like people suggesting music on the stream, but I think it's a completely different thing. Oh, you're welcome. You probably never saw that word being spelled, so you probably only heard it in his speech. All right. Okay, cool. Okay, I'm gonna stash this thing and go back one commit, or actually not really back, but take a look at what I did here. So this is speed, and it was 100, and this is okay. So now they have this speed. And this somehow introduced that bug with being stuck in a wall yet again. But I don't see, how did they introduce that? Alright, so one more time. Yeah, I can be stuck quite easily. So maybe this is something with the floating error points. Floating points error. Alright, and if I go back to the master, this nasty bug again, yeah. Because it's hard. Okay, so let's just run it. And it's not reproducible anymore. And yeah, so somehow my changes, like these changes. By the way, maybe not. Let's take a look at how many commits I did there. Excuse me. Just waiting for Git. So that was one commit. Oh my god. Oh. So the player speed is that. So yeah, basically I unhard-coded the entity speed. Now speed is calculated based on this thing. Originally speed was 800 and the stop threshold was 100. So if you divide by 8, so we're gonna get 100. Right, stop. This is a stop threshold. So what if we make the stop threshold a little bit bigger then? Ideas. I don't accept any ideas right now. I'm really sorry. I do accept pull requests that fix something in the engine. But I don't accept pull requests that change gameplay, and I don't accept gameplay ideas. I'm really sorry about that, because this is something that I'm developing myself, for myself. But yeah, I'm really sorry about that. Make a GitHub issue. I'll probably not accept it because it's a gameplay related thing, and gameplay is reserved 100% for me. I'm doing the gameplay. I'm really sorry for being so selfish, but it is what it is. If you don't like that, feel free to start making your own game where you can decide how the gameplay is going to be organized. So fortunately GitHub is actually free, so you can make a free account on GitHub and start making your game and make all of the decisions there. How about that? Isn't that epic? I think that's pretty epic. So all right, but if there is a bug there, or for example you have a suggestion on how to improve debug tools, you know, something that's not gameplay related, I would actually be grateful. So yeah. What did you have for your birthday? Existential crisis, my favorite. That's what I had for my birthday. All right. I wanted to actually increase the stop threshold. You too, yes. I also had it. Okay. How are you supposed to celebrate your 30th birthday without existential crisis? I don't understand. These gifts. Yeah. Okay. Let me see if it's gonna be with alcohol to remove it. I don't drink alcohol. Have you got middle life crisis? I think I had it 5 years ago already. I kind of already went through it. All right. So if I keep increasing the threshold, will it make any sense? All right. I think it's making it worse, so maybe we have to keep decreasing it. How about making it 9? We're a new generation, we have everyday life crisis. Yeah, whatever. I don't know how that introduced it. Okay, so I'm not gonna focus on this thing because apparently Yeah, I don't know how to solve it. So let's actually focus on something more productive. But at some point we'll have to definitely fix that. So we have a debug font and that stuff. Okay, cool. So let's commit that. Introduce stomp move for entity. So now entity has a stomp move, and I'm gonna push that right into the repo. New issue, PogChamp. Did you create a new issue? Really? Let me take a look at my notifications. Debated. Long we've been waiting. You'll have to create one. That one. But the problem is that this is like a constantly appearing, like a reappearing issue. So it's kind of impossible to fix it once and for all. So yeah. It's kind of impossible to fix it once and for all. So do we have that? Alright, now. What I want to do, when we're doing an impact, right? Stomp. Right, so here's the impact. What I need to do is probably have some sort of a way to create an area where everyone is gonna get damage of some sort. So let's actually... Do I have access to the game? I don't. Alright. That's very interesting. I wonder if I can have an access to the game. Okay. So essentially, instead of accepting mixer and grid, why don't we accept the pointer to the game? Will that be... Can we do that? I don't think we can do that, unfortunately. Because that will create a circular dependency between these two. Because, yeah. Game already depends on entities, and entity will depend back on the game. But don't we have like a similar situation with commands already? Maybe not. Maybe we can just forward declare this shit. Okay, so I'm gonna do the following thing. This is gonna be a game pointer. And entity update, right? So, and also instead of this kind of shit, is gonna accept game pointer. And in here is gonna be just a forward declaration of the game. And inside of the entity CPP, we're gonna straight up include the game itself. Game HPP, and we'll see how it goes. It's probably not gonna go well, I guarantee you. Hello, Freefo, welcome to... yeah, there we go. So it actually went to shit completely. Yeah, boy. Okay, so what if I don't include it there? What if I don't include it there? Will it work? Okay, so it kind of worked, I think. So let's do. The Twilling Win sub expires today. Well, it is what it is, and it isn't what it isn't. It is in fact sad. It is in fact sad. So, invalid use of incomplete. Yeah, so the type is pretty much incomplete. Fuck. I have a circular dependency between two structures and I really need it. I really need it. Because essentially, game updates an entity, which in turn can update the game. So it only makes sense if entity can have an access to the game. So yeah. So maybe we should just make a game a global variable. That would be cool. Wouldn't be? I think it would be pretty cool. But speaking of commands, right, I said that in commands we have a similar situation, right? Commands have access to the game, but the game's... yeah. Yeah, game doesn't hold them anywhere, so we have a global array of commands and stuff, so... Global variable, yeah. So something CPP. So here's the game. Where's the entity? So entity is here. What if we move entity here? Will it work? Git enemy styles. I'm not sure what you mean. So, okay, something toolbar entity doesn't have a complete type. So what if we include it here? I might as well try to include it here. Something entity HPP. It's on your Emacs bar. It's basically... Oh shit, it worked. It's basically a Git branch. That's what it is. Nothing special. Don't worry about it. Okay. So update. Do I have to revert it? Oh shit, it didn't work actually. It actually didn't work. So I'll have to revert all of that back. Okay, so do we have... alright, so and then I'll have to do something like this. This. And instead of actually passing these things, we'll have to only pass this. So a game updates the entity, and entity updates the game. No declaration matches this thing. Are you sure about that, buddy? I don't think so. Oh yeah, because... Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I should have actually changed the... Yeah. So let me reverse this thing. Update. Okay, this one becomes the game. Okay. Right, let's see how it goes. And it will only complain about this thing. And please tell me that it is a known type. Please tell me that you know what I'm talking about. No matching function for tile. Really? Oh, because it has to be... Excuse me. Oh shit. Oh. Cool. I think I managed to do that. So this is a game grid. Thank you so much. Game grid. And it's primarily like game grid situation, like, because we have to... Okay, this is a game, this is not a thing. Is that it? I think that's it. Alright, do we have anything else? Game grid. Alright. Okay, anything else? This what happens when you're 30? You sneeze? I mean, I started to sneeze when I was 0, I think. Alright, so now we can have like a feedback loop, right? Entity updates, game updates the entity can update the game, which is nice. Alright, so, and everything seems to be cool. Now, entities for the game. Damage region, damage radius, let's call it like that. Essentially, we also will have to provide the entity itself, but do we have an entity index for this thing? Because it will damage ourselves as well, but that's okay. Okay, so we're gonna have a position and radius, right? Right. So this is what we're gonna have here. And essentially, when you're implementing the impact, you just do game damage radius, starting from your position, the position of the entity, and how much you want to damage. Entity stomp radius. So this is going to be a separate variable here. So this is how we're going to do that. And the game will damage like everyone simultaneously. Are you working on something? Yes, I'm literally working on something right now, Bill Christian. So that's what I'm doing. Oh shit. This, I don't know what happened, but what the hell is going on? Chatirida, is it even running? Like, I just pressed something and it started to do weird things. What? Jesus Christ. Okay. Control P, maybe. So, yeah. And then it opened something else. I guess I misclicked something, so yeah. By the way, hello Ford, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh yeah, that makes sense, because I thought my focus was on Emacs, but focus was still on Chatirina, and then I started to press Control P, because in Emacs Control P is up and Control N, okay. And does it have Control New? Yes, that explains everything. So I started to press Control P, which opened the setting, and I pressed Control New, which opened a new window. All right. It's the same situation as with browsers. I'll fix in the next. You don't need to fix that. Isn't that intentional behavior? I mean, Control P will select Emacs if opened. That's a pretty nice feature. Thank you for it. I really appreciate it. So I have the same problem with browsers, by the way. But in browsers it's even worse, because Control N is just a new window, and Control P starting printing shit, and yeah, it's kind of fun. And I accidentally closed my browser. Also, Emacs detected make Control W not close tabs. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. So we don't have an entity stomp radius, and let's go to work config. Hello Shigiman, welcome to the streamos. Entity stomp radius, it was radius, right? So how big of a radius is it going to be? Let's say 200, maybe 200. So yeah, let's see how it goes. And we'll just need to implement this thing. All right, so this is undefined reference. Let's go back to the game. And in the game, yeah, this is what we're going to have. So it should be pretty straightforward. We'll just iterate through all of the entities that are alive. All right. And I'm pretty sure entities do have a damage. They don't have a damage? Oh shit. Okay, that's very interesting. So projectile. Chatirina needs to build 4 binaries, debug build, release build, and 2 separate builds specifically for studying with Emacs keybinds. Jesus Christ. Sounds like hell. So update. Okay, enemy AI, entity projectile. Oh yeah, okay, that's interesting. So yeah, I think what we need to do here is to actually extract this piece of code to a separate method of entity called damage, right? So it has to be separate method damage, and then we can reuse that method for damage radius. I think that would make sense. Okay, entity, entity HPP. So let's introduce that, and we'll also accept how much damage we deal. Damage. So, but I don't remember entity projectile damage is what? I don't remember what it is. I think it's integer. It's an integer, in fact. Yes, yes. Okay. Amount. So this is the method that we need to implement for the entity. And that's not enough, I think. Nah, I think it's enough. And I think we also will automatically die if we have like too much damage. So I think it's going to be automatic as well here. So entity. Okay. So this is the first thing we do. We decrease the amount of lives, and we don't need to prefix this thing, that's for sure. And we decrease like by the amount. So then, if the amount of lives is less than 0, that means we kill the entity. And killing the entity is actually this method. Huh. I don't quite understand why it is a method of entity, of game and not the entity. Don't we have kill? Oh, we don't. All right, we have a lot of things to move into entity. Okay, okay, that makes sense probably. Because this thing should be also part of the entities. Sometimes it's kind of difficult to, you know, properly rearrange things. Yeah. Ah, I know why. Because if you want to drop all of the items, it's... okay, that makes sense. Peaceful game. Yeah. Okay, so we have more things to move there, but a little bit later, I suppose. A little bit later. If lives less than 0, kill entity, we'll have to accept the mixer, but we also can accept the game, right? We can also accept the game here. Refactoring feels good. Yeah, probably. So then we have a velocity. Oh, it's also knockback. So let's accept a knockback as well. I suppose it has to be a vector. Yeah. So that's what we're accepting here. I'm starting to think that this should be a method of game as well. Anonymous Cheer, thank you for 7 bits. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yo. Alright, so we'll accept amount and knockback. Amount and knockback, and that has to be a method of this thing. If entity have kill method, that is recital entity. Well, yeah. That's why the kill method is not the method of entity, but the game, because game kills the entity, not the entity kills itself. So entity in our case is not suicidal yet. If entity have... I already read that. I don't know why I'm reading the message a second time, sorry. Okay. So I came to a conclusion that this method should not be the method of entity. I came to a realization. Alright. Wait a second, drop all... Drop all items, and I don't have it implemented here. It's kind of annoying that you can sometimes forget to remove forward declarations in a header, and if you never use that method, it's never like creates a compilation error. Like, because like this should not be here because the class doesn't have that method implemented, but it compiles well because nobody uses it and doesn't have an implementation. C++, am I right? So, but sometimes it's just confusing. So we have a damage radius, and we need to introduce something like game damage entity. Maybe I should really finally switch to Rust. I wish it was possible in Rust to disable borrow checker. I mean, it is possible in Rust to disable borrow checker by using like indices, but it's kind of annoying, to be fair. So amount not back. All right. So damage entity, and this is where we're gonna move all of that. Update. Update. C++ is good. It's good enough, I suppose. C++ is good enough. Projectile interaction, camera physics, entity projectile interaction. Rust without a borrow checker sounds like an actually fun programming language. Indeed. Sounds really fun indeed. I do agree with you. Okay, so we're damaging an entity. Okay, so entity lives, then we play the oof sound, then we kill the entity like that. Okay, and this is basically where we have to use the knockback. Nothing in C, something in C++, everything in Rust. Yeah, that would be interesting. Okay, so, and this is where we do a knockback, like this. So damage entity. Looks cool. So let's go back to the projectile entity. Update. Projectile. Shit. Entity interaction. Items entity, projectile entity. Okay. So essentially, we kill the projectile and then we damage entity like this. We don't have to do that. Yeah. So the only thing we have to do here is specify the amount and the knockback. Right. So, and this is the knockback. 300 line function. Oh, you must be new here. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Imagine not being able to write 300 line function. Like, imagine that. Imagine being forced to waste time on organizing code without implementing an actual functionality and missing your deadline. And actually losing your job and starving to death. Imagine that. That must be fun. Alright, so let's try to see what we have. So I damaged the entity. I want to try to compile it and see if it actually works. What's up, Kodak Ak1? Hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Welcome. How are you doing? Alright, so this is a damage entity was not declared in the scope. Ah, this is because I didn't put it into the header. That's right. Game HPP. So this is a damage radius and this is a damage entity, like this. Cool. Minus 3000. How long does it take to learn C++? I have no idea. I still haven't learned it. I guess your entire life. But I don't think it's a correct question. Like, do you really need to learn it, like, to do anything in it? To be fair, in the majority of the situation and with the majority of the languages, you can just copy-paste the code from Stack Overflow and it will work. Why do you even need to learn any language? Like, come on. It's 2020, just use Google and Stack Overflow. Seriously, don't waste your time on learning languages. It's pointless. Okay, so damage still works. Damage still works. Okay, so I would suggest learning programming instead of learning languages. Got it! Anyway, so, but it's actually true. Like, I really suggest to learn programming instead of learning languages. It's way more useful skill than knowing a language. So, okay, damage seems to be working, and that means now, so here's the center. And then This is a radius, right? So what we're doing here, we need to iterate through all of the entities, right? We need to iterate through all of the entities. Do you use a game engine? Of course, I do use a game engine. So entities count. There we go. So if entities I if entities I state equal, to be fair, when we're damaging an entity, right? So where do I damage it? Do I check that the entity is dead? I think I don't. Oh yeah, I do actually. Okay, so let's actually wrap it like this. So if this is alive, we're gonna do it like this. Right. So index projectile shooter. Is it possible to learn programming without using any language? But why? I didn't think so. You need to use language. And the fact that you need to use language to learn programming does not contradict to what I said. What did I say? I recommend learning programming instead of languages. So doesn't mean you don't have to learn language. It's just you shifting your focus from learning language to learning programming through the language. There's no contradiction here. Like, I don't know. So yeah. So we'll already check that, and I'll need to check whether the entity is alive here or not. Just like, don't focus on the language. Language is not that important. Learn programming. Are you my enemy? Do you want me to be your enemy? I don't know. It's the same with foreign languages. People learn grammar but can't speak on it. Yeah, it's the same, yes. Cool. So entity state, alive, and that's essentially what we're doing here. So we damage the entity, right? So it's going to be entity. Oh, since we're iterating them, entities I state alive, entities I pointer. How much damage are we going to deal? We're going to do entity stomp damage. Do we have any var for that? Entity stomp. So we have an entity stomp radius, but do we have entity stomp damage? So let's actually make it equal to the projectile damage. For now, at least. Entity projectile damage. There we go. So this is the entity projectile damage, and alright. And then we have to provide a knockback, but knockback is kind of interesting because it's a vector, it's a direction. So what's going to be the direction? I think the direction is going to be vector from the center of the damage, right? From the center of the damage towards the entity, right? So that's going to be the idea. Let's calculate that vector first. So f direction. Then I learn choose prolog to learn programming. Good choice. I think so. I think it's not a bad language. I don't know what my neighbors are doing there, but yeah, KGB is here. I wonder if this is because I'm talking. I'm not sure about that. All right. So what is the position of the entity? Right. So entities I position minus the center. So, and after that we may want to normalize that, but maybe not. So in the math, so I remember we had a math and we had a length of the vector, right? So we have a square distance, but do we have just distance? I think we can do something like square. Oh yeah, we can do square length. Yeah, we can do square length if square length of direction is less than double the radius. So this time, can you stop? We're streaming here. Yeah, exactly. Now it's a quiet ASMR stream. Yeah. I'm not sure if that's because of me. Probably not me. Maybe they're just, you know, doing some construction at 7 p.m. All right. So damage entity. That's what I'm doing here, and it could be also equal. And essentially, what's gonna be the knockback? We're gonna normalize the direction. What's your favorite coding language? Check out FAQ. Multiplied by entity stomp knockback. Can't believe it would be because of you. After all, it ain't late and you're talking at normal volume. I live in Russia, so people are really aggressive here. So knockback. Let's actually make the knockback equal to projectile knockback. All right. So, and that's going to be the whole thing. What's the contraption around Soding's neck? Very funny. I mean, I suppose you have to wear these things like that. Right. I don't know. Whatever. So this is a knockback. Damage radius, and in the entity, we call, okay, that's cool. So everything working out nicely, I would say. Let's try to compile that and see if it's gonna work or not. Let's try to compile out of that. Okay, it doesn't work because this is not a pointer. The universe is in balance again, yeah. Had a neighbor that came to complain about banging on the floor every time I went through the hallway. She called police on us a few times. What the fuck? Were you actually banging, or I don't know? It's kind of strange. All right. Something horrible has happened. Let me see. Was flawed, but integer. Oh, okay. So that makes sense. All right. So this thing has to be integer. It was very sensitive woman. Yeah, I can understand that. All right. So, and when we're normalizing projectile. Wait a second. Where's a float? Damage has to be integer. Damage has to be integer. Started dropping heavy shit on the floor in the middle of the night just to give you something. That's a Slav way of resolving problems. I can respect that. All right, seems to be good, and that, I don't know what exactly happened. Oh, I think I know what exactly happened, because you also get damaged. Yeah. You also get damaged, and I don't know. All right, so what if we don't, well, I mean, yeah. Does it really kill me? Because I don't think it's supposed to kill me. Alright, so if I don't damage myself, what's gonna happen? black screen of death. Maybe that's what happened. Alright. So, okay. This is because of the damage for sure. This is because of the damage for sure. Okay, that's cool. Maybe this is because of the knockback. The knockback could be too strong. But we can get rid of the knockback for now, at least. We can try to get rid of the knockback. Maybe that will be a little bit better. As you can see, it also damaged me. Okay, so the knockback was too strong. Alright, and what's funny is that if you have several of the enemies, right, you can... Is it too loud? Hopefully not. Yeah. But it actually damages them all. That's kind of the point. And I think knockback turned out to be too huge. So stomp now knockback. Let's try to give it something smaller. It was so big that it would actually push me away too much. So yeah. Let's make it like 100. Should be alright. So because knockback, I think it's kind of important for the whole visual effect. Alright. It actually, I don't know what exactly it's doing, but it doesn't even reset anything. Something gets really strange. Alright, what about... I cannot even reset the game. That's what's weird. Like it maybe corrupts something? It's not supposed to corrupt anything. It doesn't seek faults. No, you're not supposed to have any knockback at all. Does normalize return 00 on 00 input? Maybe not. That's a good point, actually. Thank you. So, we'll try to find out. No. It will actually return none. Okay. That makes sense. But why it doesn't reset anything, though? Oh yeah, and we're in the same spot as the thing. Okay. That makes so much sense. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Is there an easy way to do that, by the way? Is there an easy way to do that? I don't think there is an easy way to do that. Well, we can do something like, we can store the length here, like this. And maybe we can add a branch, but I don't think adding a branch is a good of an idea, so it's probably going to slow down significantly, but we can try. So less than a particular threshold, right? We're going to just return nothing. Might as well actually just align this thing. Return nothing, and like this. Otherwise return that. So for some reason I didn't think about that when I was implementing this thing, so it doesn't really work like that. Okay. Okay, it works. Thank you. El Capitano, I don't know if you're trusted yet, but yeah, you're trusted now. Thank you so much, because that's a good idea. And now, if I try to make it like 100, unfortunately we had to add like this stupid branch, but maybe later we'll optimize it. I don't know. Okay, so we're gonna add a bunch of... Let me actually go to the like flat surface, so it's easier for me to test this stuff. And it doesn't really... Okay, I died doing this thing. It doesn't knock them at all, so maybe it's gonna be like this. Let's actually make a significant knock back. And maybe that will do the trick, hopefully. The oof is very loud. Yeah, this is because everyone is playing that oof. Is it too disturbing? I can actually reduce the sound while I'm doing that. I'm sorry if it was too loud. Okay, there is no back. So as you can see, like when I stomp, there is definitely a knockback, and I also die. So, so that's cool. I like that. Everything seems to be okie dokie. But the next step we need to do, we need to not damage the person that's doing stomping, right? How can we even do that? All right, so this is a verse. So what do we exactly do? I guess the thing we did, we implemented the stomp impact. Give the person damage immunity during the stomp. That's not a bad idea, actually. Set 69 for 20. That sounds like something fun. Let's see. Alright. Now, something debug. And let's actually put a bunch of things here. And there we go. Is that what you wanted? We couldn't even see them, so they just disappeared. Nice collision, thank you. I mean, on such speeds, like tunneling is kind of inevitable. Well, unless we have like special measures for that. But collision is scuffed even in AAA games. So what do you want from me? I'm not only indie developer, I'm even not a game developer at all. Yeah. And I died myself. Belgianu subscribed a tier 1 for 6 months, a tier 1 subscription. Thank you. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for your support and welcome to our epic stomp clap. So that's exactly what we implemented today. We're implementing the stomp move so that you can do stomp. Boom. And you can also damage yourself, but yeah, we're trying to fix that. So it's not going to be the feature of the player, so we're actually reserving that for the golems, right? The golem. I didn't expect that. I'm really sorry if it was too loud. I'm really sorry if it was too loud. But I forgot to disable the AI. So, but essentially, that's what we do. So, yeah. We'll see how it goes. Cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Implement stomp impact. So that's what we're gonna do here. We implemented stomp impact. It's pretty goddamn cool. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. So the next thing we'll need to implement is we need to not damage the entities themselves that are stomping right now. I wonder how exactly we can do that. So it's going to be to do the entity that is stomping should not be damaged. So this is the to do that we have right now. Another thing, do we need anything else? Yeah, so there's the rest of the issues. Okay. Healed by the same. But Wait a second. It's so well. The thing is that damage calls the damage method, and the damage method plays the damage animation. So yeah, it's kind of scuffed, but yeah, it is what it is. Like it's not gonna like damage me. I'm gonna get healed, but at the same time, it will still play the damage animation for the entity. So okay, so what's the rest of the things we want to do? No stomping. No stomping rubber animation. So essentially, I want the entities to squash a little bit on impact, right? You see what I'm talking about? Squash a little bit on impact. Similarly, how it squashes when it like prepares for the jump. It actually does that very subtly, right? So you probably cannot see that, but it just actually stretches a little bit. You probably cannot see that, but yeah, it should be visible on OBS. It stretches a little bit, like become bouncy and stuff. And I want to do a similar thing when you you can see that. Nice, thank you. A similar thing when you're stomping, so it just squashes you a little bit. Step debug can show it. So there's something strange with the step debug right now. Oh yeah, it does show it. Yeah, you can clearly see that. That's actually cool. Yeah, so for some reason when I go out of the step debug, it just does that. I'm not sure why. Alrighty. Okay, so let's continue. You can stomp if you're already stomping. So what's another thing we need to do? There's no stomping weapon, so I'm gonna go to the weapons, right? Because that method should be triggered by the weapon. So we will be able to give a particular weapon to an entity, and that entity will be able to stomp. All right. So to do no stomping weapon. That's another thing. And once we've got a stomping weapon, the last thing that will be needed is updating an AI, because right now AI is designed to work with guns. Right, the AI is designed to work with guns, and we'll need to have a different kind of AI that is capable of working with stomping, right? That's quite important. So we'll have to go to the game, and this is the place where we have the AI situation. Okay. Yeah, enemy AI. Enemy AI can only work with... can't work with stomp move. So this is another to do that we're gonna have here. Yeah, so this is pretty much the rest of the work that we need to do after we're done with this issue. So let's go ahead and commit that. Rest of the work and push that right into the repo, and I'm gonna create a pull request and create separate issues for all these things. So you see, I'm doing continuous decomposition, right? I do a little bit of work, and then I identify what else needs to be done, and create separate issues for that. Okay, introduce stomping move for entities. Right. Oh, did I? Oh, by the way, let me take a look at what to do. Say create it. Okay, so yeah, I don't know what's going on with my head. So something is not building, which is weird. So this is something that we'll have to fix. And while it is building, let's actually snitch up all of these things. I'm going to report prepend body introduced in where? 315. 315. There we go. The entity that is stomping should not be damaged. Okay. No stopping weapon. Okay, so and all of these things are going to be separate issues. All right. And I'm gonna push that right into the repo. All right, I'm gonna push that right into the repo. And it's still failing, right? It's still failing, and I wonder why. Okay, it fails on Windows. What a surprise. It fails on Windows, but it's actually a good thing. At least it fails the build, right? Because before it wouldn't fail the build. Alive state, not all control paths return value. Ah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Let's actually fix that. So alive state as sister, right? So essentially, yeah, I put like assert 0 unreachable here, and that's why I didn't return anything. I might as well just return null here, right? Because that is not supposed to be reachable because we handle all of these things. And the only way it will actually reach here is when the memory is corrupted and will pass like completely incorrect alive state, which can happen, by the way. Which can happen. So yeah, let's quickly do that. So let me see if that compiles still. And I might as well also try to compile the release, just in case, just to make sure that everything completely compiles. Cheers, by the way. Okay. Try to fix Windows, let's call it MSVC build. Alright, cool. So hopefully that will fix it. And I'm gonna go to the issues that we have here. Yeah, and I'm gonna add all of them to I cannot add them. So essentially on GitHub you cannot just select 4 issues and put them to a project. You have to go to them, like into them. You have to actually go into them. All right. And assign them to a project. Perfect UI, yes. Absolutely beautiful. Let's take a look at the stream. So I'm gonna schedule all of them for the stream here. There we go. Okay, everything is building as you can see, so MSVC build is working, which is nice. We're only waiting for Clang, of course. We're only waiting for Clang. Alright, so everything seems to be okay, and let's just merge that. So, and delete the branch. So, before we continue working on something else, I want to also implement a stomping weapon, right? Turn it into a weapon. I want to make a small break because I need to pee. So I'm really quickly need to pee. And after the pee break, we're gonna continue. Let's do something like small break. To, let's say 3 minutes, just in case. And it's gonna be like soon. Alright, let's make a small break, and you guys have fun. I just realized that I was muted. Hello everyone. Hello, Odd9. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. So, yeah, let's continue working on Stomping. So I already merged the pull request, right? Hopefully I did. So you don't have to be sorry. Nothing to be worried about, nothing to be sorry about. Okay, English. My English is perfect. Introduce Stomping. Okay, so we already merged that. And let's switch to the master and let's fetch the latest changes. All right. Okay, cool. Let's remove this thing. Everything seems to be working. Do I want to do a full rebuild? No, I want to rebuild only debug. Okay, so this is the latest master, right? So this is the latest master. And if I run this thing, what is that -b flag? You can read about it in man. -b. Unconditionally make all targets. That's what it means. Does it make sense? So this flag makes sense if you understand how make works. Essentially, make supports incremental builds, and it doesn't rebuild the targets that were not modified, right? So -b makes it always rebuild, which makes me question why the fuck am I even use make if I always try to call it with -b. I might have as well just had a build.sh script. Means build everything. No, it doesn't build, it means, oh yeah, it does mean build everything because it says all targets. Yeah, but I don't think so. You can always provide the target and it will build only that target. So all target including dependencies, right? So if I do something like this, it will build only something debug, but it would never build the release. So you see, you can narrow it down to a very specific target, but it will build all of the targets of that are dependency of this one. So yeah, essentially, it depends on what you mean by all. I've always just used build scripts, but then some person from the internet wanted me to use make file, so now I have 39 lines make file instead of 2-line bash script. It do be like that sometimes. Yeah, to be fair, like these days I'm always do make with -b, and I maybe should just ditch like make files completely, just use shell scripts, because that's exactly what we do for Microsoft Visual Studio, right? So MSVC build just looks like this and it works perfectly, so why not? All right, so let's just run this thing and see if Stomping still works. Boom. So Stomping still works. And I want to try it on a crowd of enemies. So this is a bunch of enemies. I need to lower down the sound because that could be quite loud. And yeah, okay, it works. So now we need to turn this functionality into a weapon, right? So essentially not all entities will be able to do that. Only the few that have the specific weapon. So this makes same as adding each target to phony. No, it's not the same. But maybe it is. Because phony it doesn't check for time. Maybe it is. I don't know how exactly it's implemented. That is a terrible username. Anyways, so let's introduce a weapon that allows entities to stomp other entities, right? Because that's exactly what we have an issue for. Okay. No stomping weapon. GitHub. What the fuck is wrong with you, GitHub? Okay, no stomping weapon. There we go. Beautiful UX. Absolutely beautiful. All right. So I think right now I'm gonna just do a little bit of hacky wacky and introduce a weapon type stomp. I think this one is gonna be super easy to implement. Essentially, it will just call the stomp method of the entity. And first of all, we'll have to remove the handler for SDLKE, right? So the player won't be able to stomp anymore. Player is not supposed to stomp, right? Because we use player just to test how all of that works. So the stomping is resolved specifically for dirt golems. Only dirt golems will be able to stomp other entities. All right, so player is not able to stomp anymore. We're introducing a new weapon, and let's try to build all of that and see how it's gonna go. Okay, so we'll have to go through some of the places here. So entity shoot. I guess in this particular case, you can just say that just shoot in case of a stomp, right? Is there any other places where I have to make the changes? So this is a weapon gun. I see. So yeah, I think in case of a stomp, we also have infinite amount of stomp. So let's just do it like that. Hello Thrash 5, how are your exercises? Okay, so and when we're rendering something, okay, so in case of that, there's nothing to render. Stomp, there we go. So I might as well do something like this. It doesn't work. Okay. Is that a flag for checking exhaustive switch cases? Probably. I don't know. Check out the makefile of the project. It should be there, but I think we have something for that. Okay, case, weapon type, stomp. And so when we actually shoot, what do we do in that case? This one is interesting. So we'll have to take game, entities, shooter, unwrap, and we have to call stomp on that thing. But I think stomp also accepts some arguments, right? It also accepts some arguments. Do I have to revert this file? Revert buffer? Stomp. Okay, it accepts the tile grid, sure. And we can take the tile grid from the game here. Should press the forward. Alright. So, and then we are breaking here. And let's go. Why do you not Visual Studio? I don't see any of the errors, Monko S. Because I don't have money for Visual Studio, I'm sorry. So, speaking of the icon, we need to choose an icon for a stomp. That's a good question. So, what's going to be the icon for stomp? We can try to use the idle animation of the golem. Alright. Weapon type stomp. So, and I think in the assets conf we have a dirt golem animat, right? Dirt golem animat, and that dirt golem animat, it depends on what we exactly generate there. So assets types dirt golem animat. Okay, so it's assets, it's a very specific framesin. I do remember that framesin, goddammit. Yeah, framesin. I remember that one. Why did I do that? But yeah, frames. We're gonna take the zeros frame out of that. And I don't think it's gonna work that well because animats don't contain that anymore, do they? I think they don't. So I need to find the definition of animat struct. Frame animat. Oh, wait a second. I think it's sprites. Yes, I think it will work. I think everything's okay. Yes, I did it. But we also need to check, like assert that the amount of frames here is greater than 0. By the way, I've just noticed that in Russian it's quite easy to make something like frames in... Yes, probably. Yeah, because Russians always do such thing. Okay, so for people who don't speak Russian, there's like a really weird Russian habit of taking English word that is already plural, right? it's already plural, and making it plural again, but in Russian, adding like a Russian plural ending. So that word is already plural in English, and in Russian, when we speak, we also make it plural, but in Russian. So it allows us to stack pluralness like on top of each other. I have no idea why sometimes people do that. Well, I can imagine why people do that, because they don't speak English, or they don't know the rules and stuff like that. But yeah, it's kind of funny too when you listen to that. But yeah, it's, how's BL pronounced? It's really not BL. It's actually a single letter. It's literally a single letter. Like I literally press a single key on the keyboard, and it's a single one. It's pronounced like U. So yeah. Oh yeah. So and yeah. So jeans, right? In Russian language, we call them jeansy. So yeah, and that is pronounced like U. So we have two sounds that foreigners who learn Russian confuse all the time. We have sound E and we have sound U, and they are completely different sounds. And some people cannot distinguish them, especially if they don't speak Russian. So as a non-Russian speaker, can you distinguish sound E and U? Leave a comment down below. Yeah, you can distinguish. Okay, cool. Oh, because you do have that in Swedish. Okay. I completely understood that sentence for sure, but I'm not gonna answer it. Right. Oh, it's German. All right. Because that will encourage like everyone to speak Russian, and it's gonna be Russian speaking stream. Alright, so now we finally have a stomp, and we need to add a constructor for the stomp. Let me see. So it's gonna be weapon, weapon stomp. Let's call it move. Epic stomp move. Weapon CPP is gonna be like that. Alright, so and trick is pretty similar to, I see. I just know the CSGO words, some you can't see on Twitch, yeah, you can. Zell type, weapon stomp. Right, so it's gonna be stomp. And that is it actually, we can just return the result, that's it. So let us see. Now I'm gonna go to the entity. I'm gonna go to the entity and player entity. Entity, push weapon, stomp move. So, and now we have stomp. Yes. Yeah, so now I can select this weapon and actually stomp. And if I try to give that weapon to the golem, right, so let's find the golem, instead of the... Yeah, instead of the this is not a golem, this is not the right golem. Yeah, instead of the make dirt block, or rock gun, that's right. Stomp move. Suka is a dog in Russian. Well, it literally means bitch. Bitch is a female dog in English as well. So... how many hours you normally spend every day for coding? I don't count. Alright, so let's actually try to see if the AI of Dirt Golem will be able to use the Stomp attack. I would imagine that not, because it's not designed for Stomp attack. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not. It's doing nothing, literally. But we can try to do some things like hide ourselves here. It's in a stomping. Okay, that's really weird. It's definitely not designed for this kind of stuff. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna actually bring it back to rogue gun. But they're trying. Does the AI use Markov chains or something? No, Markov chains are not really for that. Markov chains are needed for simulating stochastic processes. This is not a very stochastic process, to be fair. It's a very predetermined.
Hello, chat and Mr. Streamer.
Hello, hello. Thank you so much for 9 months of tier 1 subscription. Oh my god, thank you, thank you, thank you, and welcome to our epic game development club. That's right. Alrighty. So, alright, so this is exactly what we did. 3.19, introduce stomp move weapon. That's exactly what we did here. Stomp move weapon, and I think that's basically it. So the only thing we'll have to do here is to try and rebuild everything. And submit a pull request, because that's exactly what we did. I'm gonna lurk here a bit while I fight Ubuntu. Well, good luck. I wish you to win that fight. Alright. Okay, seems to be good. And let's push that right into the repo. Do you do web programming too? PHP, JavaScript, etc.? Yes, every day. That's what I do every day, of course. Alright, let's create a pull request. Is it snow there? Yes, it is snowing there. I've been outside right before the stream doing groceries, and it was snowing, for sure. It's already like around -17 daily in Novosibirsk. Alright, so we're just waiting for the continuous integration to kick in. Winter is coming. Well, I think it's already came. Jiang! Hello. Hello, Jiang. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. You wanna see something we implemented? We implemented a pretty cool weapon today. So let me show you. So where is the player entity? So let's give player another interesting weapon. Push weapon, stomp move. So this is how the new weapon is called. It's a third kind of weapon. Oh, I'm building everything, sorry. Let's build debug. So it's a stomp move, and it does what it says it does, actually. So you have guns, you have placers of the blocks, and you have stomp that actually stomps, as you can see. And that actually damages the entities around you. So, and yeah, it works. So the player is not gonna use this weapon. It's not really for the player. It's for the golems. I especially like how it knocks back them, and yeah, so that's basically what it is. So, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Jiang gifted a tier 1 sub to Ikura Ball. Oh my god, Jiang, thank you so much for supporting the channel and Ikura Ball. Welcome to our epic game development club. How about that? I have 10k channel points. I have infinite amount of points because I own the channel. So yeah, you have that Tsodingasm. Yeah, Tsodingasm is pretty amazing. Thank you, Anabot, by the way, for Tsodingasm. I'm not sure if Anabot is watching this right now, but Tsodingasm was actually made by Anabot, so it's fucking amazing. It's the most genius emote I've ever seen. Alright, so we're ready to merge this thing. Alright. Alright, alright, alright. And let's delete the branch. The branch. Cool. And yeah, so now we have Stomp not only as a capability of the entity, but also as a weapon. So you can assign a weapon to an entity, and the entity will be able to do the stomping. It will be able to do this stomping. And the next thing is to implement stomping rubber animation. And this one could be interesting. Highlighted. I can't see highlights. I'm sorry. Alright, I don't know if stomping animation is going to be easy to implement, because that will require introducing new state. So yeah, essentially here's the idea. When we stomp, we can immediately go to the squash state and then play the animation of unstomping ourselves. Yeah. Should be pretty straightforward. So essentially what I'm talking about, look. When you jump, right? You squash and stretch and stuff like that. And I want to implement something similar when you stomp. Right, so when you stomp, I want the entity to actually squash. Right, I want it to actually squash and then just go back. Oh, your internet went down. That actually sucks. Sorry. Somehow the Ubuntu machine is so fucked up. When I hit backspace, it just moves the cursor to the left. Well, backspace points to the left, I suppose. Anyway. So let's implement the animation for this stomping, right? Oh, nice. Cool. I can actually tunnel myself. Not always, but sometimes. Why is it so funny when it actually kills itself when stomping? Especially with the sound. You miss my hello? I'm sorry if I did. So stomp move. Alright. Yeah. Let's actually go back to the master. Let's go back to the master and fetch the latest changes. And let's remove that. So no stomping rubber animation. Let's see if we can implement that one. Let's see if we can implement that one. Keg. So add give player the stomping move weapon for testing. There we go. I'm gonna push that right into the repo. And afterwards, what we're gonna do? What else we're gonna do? Yeah, so basically that will require introducing yet another state variable. That will require introducing yet another state variable. And after that, I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, thank you. So we have jump state, entity state, alive state, and I think we need to introduce a stomping state. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I think it has to be like one of those. So live state. Yeah. Let's introduce unstomping. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Unstomping. And essentially, god damn, it's also related to stomping. Mm. So the idea is going to be the following. Where's the impact? It's on update. It's in the update, and yeah. Instead of switching to idle, we're gonna switch to unstomping. Unstomping. And the idea here is that unstomping is like stomping, but it's essentially just plays the animation of unstretching itself. Something like that. Something like that. And after it finished playing the animation, it will switch back to the idle state. That's gonna be the idea. So that will require, okay, so stomping, alive state, unstomping. Not unstopping, but unstomping. And it doesn't do anything except playing the unstomp animation. So, and we have, like, entities should have different kinds of animations, like jump state. Yeah, here they are. Poof animation, prepare for the jump animation, and so on and so forth. We even have a compose rubber animation. Oh shit, I do remember that. Oh shit, this is such an epic system. So essentially, rubber animations let you squash and stretch the not tiles but sprites, right? And basically what they do, they animate this stretching linearly from one point to another, from one value to another. But on top of that, you can compose them in sequences, right? So the composed rubber animation acts like a single one, but it goes through the phases, right? So you can say that like the compression goes from like 5 to 10, then from 10 to 4, and so on and so forth. You can make like, yeah, I remember that. I remember designing this. This is actually cool. Brings back so many memories. Anyway, so what we need here, I think, rubber animate is unstomp. Unstomp animate. So unstomp animate starts with squashing and goes back to normal. So it basically starts with a negative value and goes to the 0, essentially. Forgetting about your own code. Dude, I wrote so much code in so many languages over 15 years. You won't fucking believe. Jesus Christ. I wrote so much code. At this point, I treat my own code as someone else's code because I just cannot remember how much shit I wrote. So... Alright. In unstomping, so prepare, jump state prepare, let me find it. So essentially what we're doing here, we're just updating the animation, and when it's finished, we're going back to the idle. Alright, so unstomp animate. You just update that thing with delta time, and if unstop animate finished, you switch in your alive state to just idle. There we go. So this is how it's gonna work. And as far as I know, you also need to take unstomp animate and reset it. Right, you'll have to reset it like so. Alright. And yep, but also you will have to initialize this thing. So let's go. Let's try to restart it. What do you remember from uni, high school, boomer coder? Pretty much nothing. I probably remember some things. I just don't remember that I learned them in uni or in school or whatever. Stomping. Flexible. Okay. Alright, so when we do stomping, we just render this thing. Oh, this one is interesting actually. So when I actually wanna let it fall through, but I think falling through is gonna be too dangerous of a move. So I'm gonna just do unstomping, like this, break. So, and essentially I just render the idle animation. Right, I'm rendering the idle animation, but on top of that I'm transforming the text box. Right, I'm transforming the text box like so. So I'm using unstomp animate, and that will apply the transformation to this thing. And does it compile already? It doesn't seem to be compiling. So jump. Aha. Oh, that's cool. So you cannot jump in unstomping as well. Oh, that's such a cool idea, because it forces me to actually... I should probably do that everywhere. But I'm not sure if it's gonna make sense everywhere, but yeah. So essentially, like, it forces you to go through the places where, like, you have special states, but overall, yeah. Let me see. So I have to go through the jump. So jump is already fixed. What about move? So not equal unstopping and not equal unstomping. Yeah, you see, this kind of stuff you need to do. Unstomping. But that's okay. So when we accumulate enough of this stuff, it would be super easy to refactor all of that, because we'll be able to see the pattern. So entity, and stomp itself. Yeah, if I take a look at the stomp, it makes sense. So you cannot stomp. A live state is not called unstomping, and unstomping. So, and that thing should just play the animation, hopefully. So right now the animation should be initialized with just 0, 0, right? Just initialized with 0, 0, so, and with 0 seconds, so that means it won't play any animation. So it's by default finished. It's by default finished. Alright, let's see. So I'm gonna enable so I can see my state here, so it actually draws here at the bottom. And let's go to here. And it's stomping. Right, and it immediately goes to idle, and this is because the animation, the rubber animation, is not initialized at all. Rubber animate. So we have a begin point, an end point, and duration. Okay, that's cool. So that's exactly what we'll need to do here. The player entity. What's up, Just Roxy Osu? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. This is what I'm gonna do here. Entity, unstomp animate, begin. It's gonna start with minus 500, right? And unstomp animate end is gonna end at 0. So 0 is a normal state. Minus, I think, is basically squashing, and plus is essentially stretching, if I remember correctly. And let's set the duration of a single second, or maybe even 2 seconds, just to see, so the animation becomes visible, right? Unstomp animate. There we go. So we'll see. And let's just try to run this entire thing. And now, if I try to stomp, let's go somewhere where we have like a surface and stuff. Oh, I was wrong. So minus is actually stretching, so it has to be plus. So let's make it plus then. Sure, I'm okay with that. And as you can see, it's unstomping. And once it's done, we can even see how the state switches. So we have state here, down here, and boom, and we are unstomping. And once we're finished unstomping, we're in the idle. So there we go. And we're unstomping, and we're in the idle. Nice. So now we can decrease the duration to make it snappier, right? We can make it super snappy. So how about half of a second? So 2 seconds, of course, is not acceptable. It's not snappy enough. It just has to be subtle, right? That's the point. It has to be subtle. Right. That's actually cool. Okay. So, and let's actually make it like 200 milliseconds. Let's make it 200 milliseconds. I think it should be alright. Let's see. Oh, that's actually cool. Look at that. This is actually snappy enough, I think. Look at that. God damn it. Alright. I really like it. Oh my god, it's so satisfying. The animation itself is extremely satisfying. I like it. Nice. Absolutely beautiful. Alright, so let's actually commit that, and that means essentially the issue is done. Alright, 318, introduce unstomping animation. Nice, and let's push that right into the repo. It would look cool if, if it stayed down for a while and then bounce its full length. Feel free to submit a pull request with your proposal and we can look if it actually looks better and we can discuss that. Sure, the game is open source. I'm okay with that. So since it's a non-gameplay related issue, feel free to submit a pull request. For this specific project, I don't accept gameplay related stuff, but technical stuff is actually absolutely welcome and really appreciated because it will save me a lot of time. It reminds me of Super Meat Boy. Well, I mean, I think on my streams people compare that game to pretty much everything. People compare it to Super Meat Boy, Minecraft, Terraria, Pokemon. So yeah, I don't know why people compare those games like to my game. I don't know. My game is not even finished yet. That's why it looks like other games, because it didn't form its shape yet. So, all right. Can we give a player the stomping? Introduce stomping animation, unstomping animation. Actually, I wonder if we really can generalize that spaghetti of the state management in entity, because state management in entity, like a state machine in entity, is actually quite sophisticated. And I wonder if there's like a good way to generalize that, but I don't see it yet. I just want to like let the spaghetti grow a little bit, and maybe that way will become like more obvious in the future. We'll see. So just let the spaghetti grow and then cut it. So that's gonna be our approach. So I did a test, like the full rebuild with the release and stuff. It reminds me of the Dying Light because of the jump attack. Yes, it's a ripoff of a Dying Light. Cultivating spaghetti. Yes, that's what I'm doing. Cultivating spaghetti. Oh, I didn't create a pull request. God damn it! All right, so. Nothing wrong with spaghetti, you just need to add sauce. Source. Harvest Moon, never heard of it. Why is Ubuntu so fucked? Somebody fucked it? It's the simplest explanation. Why is anything fucked? Somebody fucked it, I guess. So let's take a look at the other issues that we have. So what's the other one? So I don't really want to work on AI right now because it's probably going to be meh. The entity that is stomping should not be damaged. Yeah, this is one of the problems that we have right now. So the stomper themselves, right, get damaged. And that's no bueno. That's for sure. But maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure about the game mechanics, but for the intentions I have for this specific move, I think it would make sense to not damage the stomper. Yes, because I'm gonna give the stomp weapon to the golems, and golems, it will be strange if they would damage, because then you can just beat them by waiting off when they just kill themselves. Nah, it's not gonna be good. Make it not as drastic, maybe, but we also don't want to play the damage animation, right? So that's another thing we don't want to do. So, and like dealing the damage and playing damage animation is actually very like tied together. We just have a single function that says damage, and it automatically decreases the life and plays damage animation. So yeah, I don't know. Why do you keep using? Why do you keep? Okay, yes, exactly. Make it regenerate the health. We already discussed that, and the answer is the same as I said. The dealing the damage is actually tied to the damage animation, and if we don't want to have a damage, we don't want to play the animation. All right, so I think we're done here. Let's confirm the merge. It'd be interesting if only player would be damaged by stomping. That's not a bad idea. And it actually makes it super easy to implement. God damn it. Oh, wait a second, Outnine. I think you're a genius. Wait a second. Player entity index. That's it. That's the whole implementation, actually. Oh my god. Yeah. So, and we'll have to like replace this entire thing with player entity. Yeah, it works for now. It works for now. And of course, maybe we want to even do something like entity, maybe player, and just take it like that, just so it's a little bit more readable. Let's make it slightly more readable. So it's gonna be player. Yeah. So if it's in the radius. Oh yeah, shit. Welcome. And I don't have to do that thing anymore. Just stop damage. That should be it. Okay, let's see if it's gonna work or not. But the problem here. Okay, so. Yeah, it doesn't make much. We cannot test it right now because the golem's AI doesn't know how to use stomping. That's the problem. We can give the stomping to the golem, but golem just doesn't know how to use that shit. So it's kind of pointless. It's a completely separate issue, right? And when the player does this thing, it obviously damages itself. But if we have other things here. Yeah, they don't damage. Okay, that's an interesting idea, but I don't think it's super easy to implement right now. But yeah, thank you for the suggestion. All right, so we need to go to the actual development. It's like a Dark Souls thing where you damage yourself intentionally to gain damage boost. Yeah, I suppose. With the ring. With a special ring. There are two rings. The one ring that boosts the damage and the one that boosts the defense, as far as I know. I forgot their names, but I know that the damage one is a red one and the defense one is a blue one. Yeah, I played Dark Souls, like first Dark Souls, but I still didn't beat it. Didn't have time to do that. By the way, I was actually playing it on this laptop. I have a Windows on this laptop, and there's Dark Souls installed there. So I know play games. It's not which of Dark Souls. God damn it! I mean, Dark Souls is actually a good game. Like, seriously, it's a very good game. Okay. I wish there was like more games that are developed by people who actually pay attention to good game design. By the way, I still haven't played a single John Blow game. Neither Braid nor Witness. Neither Bread nor Swiftness. So yeah, but I heard a lot of good things about them. Maybe I should finally give them a try. Or maybe I should wait until the Braid anniversary, right? So they planning to, you know, remaster the Braid with higher resolution assets and stuff like that. So yeah, sounds like a good idea. Maybe I'm gonna do that on the stream. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Damage radius. All right. But I'm not gonna promise anything, okay? I'm not gonna promise anything. First ever gaming stream. Yeah, but I'm probably not gonna do this on this channel because, yeah, people are generally on this channel not really interested in me playing games. Gaming meeting. But you need to capture the desktop sound, and it doesn't really work on Linux. Alright. Okay, entity is that is stomping should not be damaged. Okay, so let's actually implement that. Let's go to the master. Just boot into Windows. That's not a bad idea, to be fair. By the way, I have Windows 8 on this machine. Is it still supported? As far as I know, like Windows 7 support has expired like a long time ago, but I'm not sure about Windows 8. Because I don't know Windows, I just don't follow like what's going on. Windows 8. I mean, I don't have any other Windows, fortunately. Well, I mean, I could probably install. 8 must be alive, I see. Let's see. Original master. Alright, cool. So let's create a separate branch for the last issue, 316. And how can we note damage? So the easiest thing would be if we actually passed information about the stomper. Right, so you basically do damage radius. Let's go to the game CPP, damage radius, and we can do something like entity index stomper. And if entity is alive and I not equal stomper unwrap, 24-hour stream when? Probably, I don't know. If I'm gonna do 24 hours, I'm definitely not gonna do any programming because I cannot program for 24 hours. So what is that? It's so cursed, Jesus Christ. Do you really want this emote? Because I don't have any slots, I'm sorry. But it's kind of funny, not gonna lie. Okay. I don't want to go through, like, you know, checking what to remove. 24 hours into a stream, maybe. We'll see. Pogeg. So cursed. Okay, so Stomper, right? So we need to update this thing. Yep. Okay, so what do we have? Did I forget a semicolon? Question mark? What? RL stream around no be serious. Don't pretend that you don't know how to pronounce that. I mean, come on. You can read that. I know that. I fucking know that. There is no, like, a character here that is not present in Bulgarian, so you'd know how to read this shit. I can. Okay, sure. Sure, buddy. Shirt is so red. Yes. Here's the problem. The entity itself doesn't know its own index. But we can actually pass the index in the update. Now we can pass it in the update. Index me. Right, I'm gonna update this thing here. And what we're gonna have here, entity, HPP, update. Yeah, There we go. So it's a me, Mario. Tom Scott stream. Yeah. By the way, it's my second red t-shirt actually. I recently went ahead and bought 2 new t-shirts, the yellow one that you saw yesterday and this one, so now I have 2 red t-shirts. I'm gonna buy more in the future and I'm gonna become Tom Scott. Second, sure. Well... Why am I doing that, by the way? I have no idea, but... Are they the same color? This is slightly more reddish, to be fair, if you think about it. Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Let's continue. So here's where we have to do this thing. So entity account. Okay, so what is that? And when we damage radius, I put me there. I think that was too easy, to be fair. That was too easy. Too easy. Piece of cake. Alright, so, and now, if I try to stomp... It doesn't damage me anymore, look at that. But if I have some entities around me... I accidentally enabled AI, I'm sorry. Alright, one more time. One more time. Okay, so I have a bunch of these shits, right? And... Okay, so they get damaged, I don't get damaged. Alright, perfect. We did it. We did it, chat. Rooms are not random. Well, somebody doesn't reset the seed, I suppose. So, are we in the right branch, by the way? Are we... Yeah. 316. Yes. Don't damage the Stomper. It's oofing so loud. Yes, it does. It does oof very loud. Okay, so let's create a separate branch. On top of that, maybe... Yeah, so let me find 316. And let's just do something like this. Remove to do 316. And on top of that, I want to go through all of the like to-dos and just check if they're already closed or not. Okay, so this one is already configured. Reloading does not work on Windows. It does work on Windows. Thank you to Cache. Thanks to Cache, Jesus Christ. This is nothing rock projectile can damage for now. Yeah, this one is done. Does not handle well out. Okay, that's one is done. Yep. Separate kind of water projectile can destroy blocks. Yep. We have a lot of close to-dos, to be fair. No stomping rubber animation. Yeah, that one was... Shit. That removed a lot of issues, not gonna lie. Look at that. Alright. Let's push that right into the repo as well. Alrighty, and let's create the pull request. How many lines of code is something run clock to... You can do that yourself, by the way. Did you know that? You can literally git clone the repo and do clock yourself. That's actually pretty epic. 316. There we go. Let's take a look at the amount of changes we had to make. Cool. All right, so that means I can go to the project. And declare this thing done about that. Today was a productive stream, so I think we made at least like 4 pull requests. Yeah, we made at least four pull requests. But unfortunately, boys and girls, it is time for me to go. Thanks everyone who's watching right now. I really appreciate that. Have a good one, and I see you guess when? Guess when I'm gonna see you all? According to the Skidoodle, I'm gonna see you all tomorrow. We're gonna do Rust programming tomorrow. That's right, we're gonna continue programming in Rust. Also, check out a schedule page for more information on different projects we're working on. Also, check out our VODs YouTube channel where we archive all of the VODs. This stream is gonna be there as well, but tomorrow. That's right. And also check out our Discord server, whatever. So yeah, that's it for today, boys and girls. Thanks everyone for watching. Love you. Mwah.